It's 9 o'clock. Could you please stand and join us for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let's see. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, December 1st, 2025 as written?
I'll move.
Moved by Peterson and seconded by Barker. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Martin Ernst, Emergency Management, Communications Technician, employment status change from full-time to as needed with no benefits. Wage classification from 55-7 to 55-7. Wage from $30.08 to $30.08, effective 12/2/2025.
I'll move. Second.
Moved by McCurry and seconded by Peterson. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. A motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign one tax abatement in the amount of $5,555.16. I guess I'll move. It appears there's a change in ownership that it...
That will get added back. There were two different families with the same name, and they got combined. And so we caught it, and we're separating them, and then they'll be moved to the new name.
Okay.
Seconded then?
Abendroth has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Shaded Mills Recycling / Light Equipment Operator, new hire, full-time, wage classification 30-1, wage $19.73, effective 12/8/2025.
I'll move. I'll second.
Moved by McCurry, seconded by Abendroth. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Ethan Clay, Jail, Corrections 1, new hire, full-time, subject to new hire IPP, wage classification 30-2, wage $20.11, effective 12/4/2025.
I'll move. I'll second.
Moved by Peterson and seconded by McCurry. Do we have discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. What do I do now? It started over for some reason. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Kayla Rhodes, Emergency Management / Deputy Director, I guess it's not / Management, Deputy Director / Radiological Officer, new hire, subject to new hire IPP, wage classification 60-3, wage $29.87, effective 12/15/2025.
Move. I'll second it.
Been moved by Barker and seconded by Abendroth. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion upon the recommendation of the sheriff to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the updated fee schedule for the Coffee County Sheriff's Office dated December 5th, 2025.
Do we have that list? I have not seen that list.
They just brought it up this morning. If you guys want to
Yeah,
pass
I'd like
it
to
around.
just look at it before we.
Did all of these change or just a select few?
That I'm not sure, they just brought it up, handed
Okay, I
it to
mean,
someone and asked if
none of them seem way out of whack or anything, I'm just curious. Want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to accept that, fee schedule. I'll second it.
Moved by Curry and seconded by Barker. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, lobbyist Tim Johnson, contract renewal. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Commission. It's that time of year. It's hard to believe it's been a year.
Went pretty fast.
Yes, it did. I'll hand this out. This is my lobbying list. And I try to keep track of what I've done throughout the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got one for the clerk, I think, if everything works out right. And the county attorney. It seemed like it went pretty fast. I was looking up over the weekend, roughly 4,800 miles. I don't know if this is in there, but also includes, I went to 6 parades and I was asked if I thought that was part of my job. I'll tell everybody this, it seems like, you've got state representatives there, you've got U.S. representatives there, and I usually get there before and after and have time to talk to everybody. And so I do that. I went to many trips, of course, to Topeka. County committees, political meetings. I attended 8 in our county, and I believe 3 to 4 besides our county. I went to 2 district or political committee meetings. I attended roughly 5 Kansas for Constitution and Integrity meetings over in Emporia. I went to 3 Kansas Natural Resource Coalition meetings, and I would like to go to one tonight. So what I'm here is would like to renew my contract for 2026 and, represent the county and the commissioners again. My contract, I've tried to keep my expenses down and, for 3 years, and I think I can do it again for the same contract as last year.
Tim, I think you know how I feel. I don't support that position at all. Nothing against you, I just don't think we need that position, and I haven't changed my mind on it at all. I know you travel a lot of miles and everything and talk to a lot of people, but I just don't see the need for that position.
I understand your position. You know, it's just like Topeka. Not everybody agrees.
That's
And
exactly right.
so, and with that in mind, I would like to ask that my contract gets renewed. I want to thank you for the good year. I like what I'm doing. If there's any questions that I can answer,
Again, we have a lobbyist in Topeka that the county, through the county Kansas Association that we belong to, and I guess I use him if I have any questions or anything, just because he's on scene all the time. That's just my position.
I think Tim's been able to get into some doors that we haven't been able to get into with some of the situations that we're dealing with in the county, and I think he has opened some doors for us with what we've had going on as far as with the pumping and everything. I think lobbyists here or at the state level are important, and he's willing to go up and beat on some doors that we haven't.
And that's
been able to
fine,
get through.
and that's fine, I just don't think we need that position, Todd.
Right.
And that's been my position for the last 2 or 3
and I
years.
understand that.
and I'm not-
Yeah,
and I'm not-
everybody respects
yeah,
that,
yeah,
Steve.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it looks to me like you're getting paid mileage is about what you're getting paid. You know, and I think it has some value to our county and at a not a very high cost is my thoughts.
well, thank you.
Did you say 4,800 miles?
Yes.
No, I guess I'm wrong. I was calculating wrong in my head as far as mileage, but regardless.
And that don't include a lot of times of my pickup and going to parades and.
Right, right. Well, I guess I'd make a motion to approve the lobbying services agreement with Timothy E. Johnson, being the lobbyist for Coffee County at $1,500 per month from January 1st, 2026, and end on December 31st, 2026.
I'll second that.
Moved by Thompson and seconded by Barker. Is there any further discussion?
Now, I was gonna say there are several issues that are ongoing right now with Coffee County, and I think having Tim's voice probably has been beneficial for us, so I'm okay with it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you,
Thank you, Tim.
Commission. Do you have a copy?
Just have-
No. I know Wade's
Do you
had
need-
a copy, but I'll leave another one.
do you need him to sign this?
If you,
This should
thank
be the
you,
one.
Commission, I
The one
appreciate it.
So is this,
If you wanna wait till Wade,
why don't we do that? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm I'm sure it's fine, but why don't we, wait till he looks at it, okay? That's just a policy that's kind of helped keep us out of hot water
Yep.
several times.
I'd agree.
Okay,
And then just email me.
Yep.
Thank
We
you.
can do that.
thank you. Okay. Trust Point Insurance Representative Angela Trimble, insurance renewal. Good morning.
Yay! No? Good morning.
How's your day today?
It takes a little longer to deal with life right now, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm trying not to be bitter about it. It'll be better in the long run.
With one and a third arm.
So Kimberly is going to hand out the proposals that we've made for everyone. Kimberly, can I get you to do my business cards as well? Sure. Because, yeah.
I've been there.
Have you done it too?
Both sides.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So you feel my pain right now.
Crashed twice, yeah. Could learn a lesson.
Really? But not at the same time?
No. Both of them were accidents.
Oh, my goodness. It truly has been a challenge. Steve,
How you, Kim?
they slipped right off.
How long is it? We're okay.
What?
Don't rush, we're
I
okay.
know. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
That- Just to get in the vehicle and buckle up is a challenge.
A challenge.
Yes, challenges every day that everyone can really face. All right, gentlemen. Sorry, and ladies. I'm going to go over the Coffee County renewal. As you know, we put it out to bid last year with Travelers. And this year with Travelers, they wanted to make sure that the jail was completed before they came out and did a quote, which would have pushed this renewal. I wouldn't have gotten their revised quote until today, so that would have pushed us way out to the end of the month. I got their tentative, and EMC came in very strong. So next year, I'm going to have Travelers come out and do that, but they wanted to wait until the jail was done, and that was just too late.
Okay.
Anyway, EMC was very comparable to last year, and kind of want to go over that. So page 2 is your table of contents. Page 3 is the servicing team, which will be myself and Kimberly now. Kimberly is assisting on this, and she's very well versed in your account. The next page, for those of you that are new, I guess real quickly, I am Angela Trimble. I'm the owner of Trust Point Insurance and Real Estate, and Kimberly Skillman-Robron has been with us well over 10 years, so a lot of experience in that. The page 4 is letting you know about your insurance company. So EMC has an AM Best rating, which is a rating that is done over all the insurance companies by AM Best. And so they rate you financially, how much you have liquid assets, that you're able to pay claims, and they have an A excellent rating. So just to let you know a little bit about EMC, and you have the website on there, and you know, if you can't sleep at night, maybe you want to just go read about it a little bit. But gave you a little bit more information on page 5, telling you how financially stable they are and how they pay claims. As you can see, they were formed in 1974. So they are on the NASDAQ. So the next page, we'll go ahead and start with property. Obviously, property is the big point that we have that changed from last year to this year, and that is the law enforcement center. So currently, right now, your blanket building limit, and we'll go over in detail each building. So this is just a summary of the buildings that we're going to go over in just a few seconds. So your blanket building limit is at 45.1 million. Last year it was at 17.8. So, and that's going to be your law enforcement, and then your small inflation. Your blanket business property, that's all of the items that are inside the building. If you turned them upside down and shook them and they fell out, that's going to be your business personal property. It's on a blanket, and you see locations 1 through 7 and 10. There are some locations that are excluded, and a lot of those are sirens. They don't have business personal property. And that's where your business personal property is covered on the next line item, and that's a lot of your sirens, and we'll go over other items that you guys have in the property in the open. Sometimes you have your towers are on there, like I said, your sirens. So all of these are under a replacement cost and special cause of loss, and that's the highest, broadest coverage that you can have. And they have a $5,000 deductible and a 1% wind and hail. And that's something that we can talk about when we get to the next building and property. If you guys want a buy-down insurance policy, which actually buys down that deductible, because it's a 1% wind and hail, some of these values are really high. So looking at that deductible is going to be significant, but we can talk about that. You have blanket flood coverage on locations 1 through 4 and 8 through 11. You have $1 million worth of coverage there with a $50,000 deductible per location, and then a blanket earthquake locations 1 through 11. We added these two coverages on, I would say, at least 18 years ago, and it's something that the commission has always consistently had on the policy. Then you'll see the scheduled property location, the one line item, location 13, and that is the house location that is up north by Vito Junction. And that's a $5,000 deductible and a 1% wind and hail deductible. So total property value, you have $50.9 million, and total property value, last year you had 24.8. So a significant increase on property and contents. You'll see the 1%, and it gives you a summary down below. The 1% wind and hail applies to location 1, that's the courthouse and the law enforcement center, location 4, road and bridge, and location 13, Levo. Okay, now we'll go over individually one by one. If you look at page 7, it's location 1, building 1, here where we reside right now. It is the courthouse. You'll see that they left the courthouse limit of coverage the same as last year at 11.9. The business personal property was a little over $1 million. And then you have your computer equipment on top of that at $457,494. And then the emergency DVR repeater at $594,140. And then your property in the open, which is what I referred to earlier, is the tower for $375,626. All of those are at replacement cost with $5,000 deductible, except for your wind, hail, flood, and earthquake. So your flood and earthquake's at 50%, and then your wind and hail is at 1%. Any questions on that location? The next location on page 8, you're going to see the law enforcement center. The building is set at replacement cost at $26.741,400 at replacement cost, and we added business personal property at 1.4, and that was back in a June 26. I believe that Angie brought it to the commission of what you wanted to put on contents, and at that time I think it was like, let's go with 1.4, and we'll see how it goes if we need to add additional. So that's where we're currently setting that right now. Same coverages as the courthouse with 1% wind and hail. Next one is locations 2 and 3. It is the sheriff's storage in the annex. Again, you have the same deductibles of the $5,000. The roofs are actual cash value. Most insurance carriers, even in your personal home and auto, basically in your home, you're going to see if your roof is over 15 years old, it's going to be actual cash value. And that's what EMC is doing with each one of these locations. Anything of the roof over 15 years is ACV, actual cash value. Location 1, you have your property and then your business personal property. Same with location 3. And then you have property of others. And that's like if items were seized, when they pulled somebody over, so on and so forth. That's where that 300,982 is. And that's something that was brought to us by the sheriff.
That would
Correct.
be stored in a building or
Right,
something.
right, in those buildings that isn't your contents, that's where this coverage is, coverage of other people's items. Location 4, page, I'm sorry,
On
yes,
this, location 2 and 3,
uh-huh.
that coverage is for the water rescue building also?
No, just building 1, the sheriff's office, and then the sheriff's annex.
Okay, so the water rescue building is not covered under this one?
Is it a third building over there?
This one right here in the corner?
It's both of those buildings, Mike.
Okay.
But you're saying that there's more than 2 buildings?
No, there's just 2.
Right, I think it's,
I didn't know if the fire district. That whole
The fire district the fire district does store some equipment there, but it does belong to the county.
Okay, that's
So
what
that's why it's on this policy.
I didn't know if the fire board took care of insurance on that one or we did, so.
No,
That was-
it belongs to the county.
Okay.
thank you, Kimberly.
Yep.
Good, make sure it's covered.
Location 4, at 1510 South 6, basically road and bridge, truck storage and salt barns. You have all the individual coverages for each one of those. Your buildings went up on all of your buildings just due to inflation.
That's the replacement cost.
Yeah. So you have 1.268951 on the office shop. The truck storage is a little over $1 million, and then your salt barns at 46,621. Building 1, the roof is insured for replacement costs, but 2 and 3 are actual cash values. And the salt barn, obviously, is the white arched building, which is actual cash value. Location 10, that is the landfill, the weigh house, and the trailer storage barn. And you'll see the 3 coverages for those down below. With personal property, at the trailer storage barn, there is no business personal property. Good morning. The roofs are insured for actual cash value. Again, that's over 15 years of age. Location 6 and 7 at 1432 and 1430 Lane, 12th Lane, is noxious weed and recycling on page 12. Your noxious weed building is at replacement cost except for the roof, and your recycling center is at replacement cost except for the roof as well. Storm sirens, these 2 have been on the policy for quite some time. The location in Lebo and in Gridley, and it was agreed on the replacement cost is $27,450. Next location, location 10, the emergency service facility in Waverly, north of Keurig Town. You have your building coverage at replacement cost, your business personal property, your computer equipment, property in the open, which is a backup generator, and then a radio tower. So again, those go underneath property in the open, and they are, the roof is insured for actual cash value.
The trucks themselves are insured through
The auto.
Fire, right?
Oh, and
Yes,
then
they are.
Okay.
Location 11, again, another siren. And that limit of coverage is at 27.3. Your location 12 is 225 Cross Street. And we just have the building coverage as you lease that out at $598,315. And it is ACV on the roof too. Location 13 is not included in the blanket. It stands on its own, and it is at 1234 Old Highway 50 Lebo. The house is insured at a little over $2 million, and the shop is $708,593. We don't have any contents in there. And then the tenants that you have in there have a separate insurance renter's policy, and our recommendation for liability limit is $1 million, and I believe that Wade has already taken care of that with them. The roof for both buildings are actual cash value. On page 17, we have more storm sirens at 27,300, all three locations on 9th Road, 4th Street, and Getz, all in Burlington. And then on page 18, we have more sirens again, all located in Burlington on Milo, Oxon, and Embankment.
Get back to your siren, that gets,
That
it's actually New Strong.
New Strong.
New Strong. Typo on that part.
I just caught that before you mentioned it. I apologize for that. That's my fault.
No problem.
Nope, I appreciate that, thank you.
Things that could.
Location 8, page 18, 17, 18, and 19 are in Burlington. And again, page 19. Leavenworth, 13th, and Garner. Again on page 20.
Is that a Tumwa?
I'm sorry?
Leavenworth, is that a Tumwa?
That's a Tumwa, but it does categorize as a Burlington address.
Yeah, I know it's a Burlington.
On page 20, we have one located on 7th Street in Waverly, Ogden Street in Lebo, and Santa Fe in Gridley. Lots of sirens. And then our last for our property is location 26. I know this is under contract and should be closing by the end of this month, is what I've been told.
That's our hope.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions on property? That's a lot. Our next policy is the business auto policy. You have any auto coverage and a standard of $1 million in liability. You have MedPay, uninsured motorist, and of course comp and collision, hired and borrowed auto liability, and then non-owned auto liability. The next pages include all of your trailers and automobiles. There is a reference to each of them. Some of them we don't have a reference on which department they go to. You'll see the check mark column that has liability, and then you'll see the comprehensive deductible or the collision deductible. And at that point, there's a lot of no coverages based on vehicles that are older. In previous commission, members have said anything that's 10 years and older to put liability only on. However, there are some heavier duty vehicles that are 10 years and older that are a significant value that have not been changed.
Right.
That is something that we can discuss on vehicles that are 10 years and older, if you would want to put liability on them, or if you would like for us to come back and give you a summary of what that would be to take those 10 years and older off and just put liability only on them. And we can do that for you. But this has not been brought up against this commission yet, so I wanted to make sure if that's something that you wanted to continue to do. I didn't want to take that.
Well, I'm guessing like these trailers, I mean, these low boys and detaches and stuff, some of them are pretty considerable value, and the premium's surely not very high on those trailers, is it?
No.
Yeah, I think that would be, I don't think that's money thrown away.
So the first page and a half is all your trailers. and then your vehicle schedule is underneath. Excuse me. Some of the vehicles you'll see that are older, and you say, well, Angela, I thought you said that it's 10 years and older. Those are the higher value vehicles that we've left the full coverage on. But if you would like, I could go and do anything 10 years and older and come back with an additional side quote. There's plenty of time to get those changes made, or we can make them throughout the year. EMC can do that at any time. So any changes you want to make throughout the year is absolutely fine. We can do that as well.
I don't know what everybody else thinks, but all these pickups and one-ton trucks that are on here, I'm not sure that represents something that we need full coverage on. I mean, like the dump trucks and bigger ticket items, something that's really expensive to replace. I mean, what's everybody think? I mean, the downside would be if you had a tornado or something and wiped a whole bunch of them out. As far as on an individual loss, I'm just wondering what everybody else thinks. I guess I'd be interested to know what those are costing us maybe.
On the 10-year-old, or
Yeah.
10-year.
Like, you know, we've got a whole list of them here.
Yeah,
You know, that are
I wouldn't mind seeing what the difference would be on that.
Okay.
like
If that
the
would-
3,500.
No, we can do that.
and below, you know.
And maybe there won't be as much difference as,
In premium.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd like to just see what the number
Okay.
would be.
All right. I can do that.
Because we've got a lot of them. That's such to me. Any thoughts, guys?
I think I heard, have some comparisons.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I guess my thought would be over anything above the 3,500 pickups and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we probably, I'm just making a suggestion. I'm trying to speak for everybody.
Keep it covered.
Yeah.
Looking at them.
Yeah, the 1 tons and below.
Yeah.
And I'll, you know, like this 11 edge, we don't need insurance on that.
Full
It's
cut,
not
yeah,
gonna amount to anything if you get this.
yeah.
You're talking roughly 25 vehicles that are over 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because the further back we get in this list, the newer they get, it's like,
It's like the oldest ones are at the beginning of the list.
correct.
Great. Okay, so I will come back with that. We can have that done and be back here by next Monday and
Okay.
get that done with the
I'm not trying to. make you
optional
more-
quote. No,
more
no,
work for
absolutely
this.
not. No, I brought it to your attention. I wanted to make sure if you guys want to have that,
Trying to
additional
spend
quote?
money wisely is all.
Yep.
I'm-
absolutely.
I wouldn't insure them if they were mine.
Yeah.
So that's, you know.
And that's typically what we recommend for most businesses and, you know, even personal autos.
Yeah.
Like, will you, right, the coverages on it.
You know, unless some of these have, like, there might be some 1 tons. that have
Right,
a lot
higher
of
value.
Equipment on them or
Yeah.
something, you know, that are specialized piece, you know, that for the, weed department and stuff has sprayer and stuff, that might be a consideration on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
29 briefly, we have the Auto Elite extension added on your vehicles, and that just gives you somewhat of a summary in regards to the additional coverages that are on your auto policies that you have. So per occurrence, you guys have a max deductible. So if you have two autos in the same collision or the same occurrence or hailstorm or so forth, it is the deductible is at 2 times the highest deductible. So it would be $10,000, which is a nice, really nice. If a hailstorm came in and ruined vehicles, 15 vehicles, you'd only have $10,000 per deductible. Better at replacement costs.
Right.
Any more questions on auto? I can bring back additional quote next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. The next is the inland marine. Currently, right now, we get this information from each department head. They fill out a form. It gets sent in to the clerk's office. Changes are made at that time. You have on scheduled equipment is a little over 9.4 million. And you have leased and rented equipment coverage up to 800,000. So that means you can use 200,000 with one piece of equipment, 100,000 up, or 100,000 for one piece of equipment, and it goes up to your max is 800,000. So when they get done leasing it, it then opens up that amount to use for coverage. So this also is when you have to rent a piece of coverage, or I'm sorry, rent a piece of equipment. You don't have to take their insurance. We already have it. You just contact us. We add it on and we send them a copy of insurance coverage that you don't need to use, like Caterpillar or Foley equipment rental. We already have that covered.
So typically, they would make you pay for insurance
Right.
if you rent
Yes.
a piece.
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't know how that worked, or whether that was part of the rental agreement
Yep,
cost.
so, in those times, anything that's rented, just let us know, and then we'll send it on to the company and say, we already have this coverage for this value of amount. So you have up to 800,000. The only problem that would happen is if you were over your limit, and what I would do is just come up here or call Angie, depending on what time of day it is. If it's on a Tuesday and you guys don't meet till Monday, I don't know how she would do it, but if we needed to increase it by $10,000 lease because you have over 800,000 used at one time, if we needed to bump it a little bit, it would be incidental money
Okay.
premium-wise. That's the only reason that would be a problem, if we needed to increase that amount. Drone coverage, they set on their own, and we've got that valued at a little over 71,000. And those are at replacement cost, except the spotlights. Those are actual cash value, and the deductible is 5,000 on that. And I apologize, the deductible's at 5,000 on the other scheduled equipment and the leased and rented equipment as well. And then your mobile property that is on the move, that is different than the other coverages that we have listed below. We kind of have those located out for you, that you could see that down at the bottom. The GPS system, voting terminals, mobile radios, all of that. We have a little over 241,000 on that. And they are at actual cash value with a deductible of 5,000. Every 3 years, we contact the department heads and we go over their equipment. And we tell them what we have it insured for, because equipment, as most of you or all of you know, it is all considered actual cash value. It's kind of like an auto. You get for what it's worth at that time. So we meet with the department heads every 3 years, is what has been recommended by the commission for as long as I've been doing it, for 19 years. That way you can make sure that you're not over-insuring and or under-insuring.
Angela, does this take into consideration for all the new towers we're putting up, communication towers in all the areas in the county?
Those are considered property. So, yeah, we'll list them individually. So once you guys get those lists, get them done, add that to the policy, and then we'll add them on as
Okay.
property in the open. So I believe that we have one more year. Next year, we'll do the equipment again with all the department heads and meet with them. We try to meet with them like May, June, because it takes a while for them to go through and inventory everything. So we try to stay on top of that. Next is the general liability. Basically, this covers for any liability claims that come about because of bodily injury or property damage. We have a $2 million aggregate. Each occurrence, you have $1 million up to a $2 million aggregate, which means you could have two $1 million policies throughout the year, but your aggregate, the most you're going to get out is $2 million. We do have a liability, an umbrella policy that goes over on top of that, and I'll discuss that later. So all of your general liability, your exposures are based on the classifications that you'll see below, and these are all audited exposures. They come to the clerk's office, and all of that is audited every year. So an EMC auditor comes out or emails them, all of these items are updated. And that's how they base your coverages for your general liability exposure. Any questions on the GL, general liability? The next page is an additional benefit that EMC gives to you, the Attorney Direct Program, and I know that's been used before. I know that Wade has been in contact with them before, and it is free service to you. It's a law firm that helps you on any questions that you may have, or if Wade wants to bounce something off with another attorney. They know that you are with EMC. It's a benefit with EMC, so they will coordinate with EMC as well as Wade does too. So it's just a nice extra added perk. So that just gives you some information about the coverages that they offer. On page 34, unfortunately, this is a coverage that we put with all municipalities, and it's been recommended to as well. And you guys have workplace violent event response. Unfortunately, that's something that we see more and more, and this is, your coverage would come out of your general liability. That does give you a little bit of information about how that coverage would respond in some of those triggering events that would be classified as a violent event. Basically, it's an intentional criminal act done to the county. You'll see on 35, it gives a little bit more information on loss control services is what EMC does. A lot of people sometimes have a tendency to think that insurance carriers, they're just wanting to know our business and raise our insurance. I will tell you, Coffee County is they reference your county for the safety that you guys have, how you update your vehicles, how you update your buildings. So you're kind of like a star pupil for EMC, and they worked really hard on your premium this year too to keep it down. So loss control I know comes out here, and I will tell you, loss control this last year came out, they had no recommendations based on all locations, which is almost unheard of.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's really a great standard.
Yeah. Hats off to all the work that's been done for the department heads, all of you, everything that's put in place. There was zero
I
recommendations.
assume that helps with the premium.
Absolutely.
To add that rating.
Mm-hmm. Page 36 is employee benefits. This is in the event somebody signed up for health insurance, or they signed up for some plan, or they were skipped over and they weren't added by accident, they were missed, because you have a lot of employees, you have a lot of, moving pieces. This gives you coverage if that was not done in time. You only have you only have 30 days or 90 days to enroll if it's a new hire. This gives you the coverage in case that never happened.
For that
For that.
person.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it covers the county. So you have $1 million worth of coverage there for each employee and $2 million aggregate in a policy period time, in the year time. This retroactive dates all the way back to May 30th of 2008. So sometimes people will come up with claims that are in the past. This was never done. I didn't know you had a cancer policy when I had cancer, so on and so forth. It happens. You have that coverage that dates back to that time. Linebacker basically is your coverage that's sitting here, and also board of directors, and it does put employment practices on there. So it's a public official policy for any wrongful acts that a board member may do, or misstatements. For example, if someone came to a commissioner and said, we really need to get our road paved, and that person says, yep, we'll do it, right? Obviously, you guys wouldn't do that, but if someone spoke out of turn, then that was misleading to that person, stating that you're going to do something that you didn't have the authority because you needed a vote. So that gives you some coverage there. Each loss is up to $1 million, and your aggregate for a policy period is $2 million. Wrongful acts, including defense, is at 2,500, and this retroactivates back to July 1 of 92. And I apologize, I skipped the employment practice liability. That's in the event of wrongful acts, hiring, termination, discrimination, slander. There have been those cases before, and that's where this coverage lies. Any questions regarding that? The next page, page 37, just gives you in more detail in regards to the public entity linebacker. And if you want any more additional information on that, I can give that to you. Page 38 is law enforcement coverage. It used to be included in the general liability, and EMC has now carved that out, and that's been the case for the last 4 years. It has its own liability coverage, so each occurrence is $1 million. Your aggregate's $1 million. They pay up to $5,000 medical expense any one person, and then it's a $5,000 deductible, and it's based on how many officers that you have. And aircraft liability is included in that, so you have 21 peace officers, 3 part-time peace officers, 2 police dogs, and unmanned aircraft liability of up to $100,000. And then you have 2 drones that weigh between 1 and 14 pounds.
So before, when you talked about umbrella coverage, would that apply to this page also?
The liability.
I know you'll talk
Yes.
about it later.
Yes, but no, you're correct.
Yes,
Okay. Absolutely.
because otherwise it's not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your law enforcement liability coverage, I just put some more additional information in there that you could go over that and read. On page 41 is the crime policy. And you'll see in the coverages, it covers a lot of different acts: employee dishonesty, faithful performance of duties, the Coffee County attorney. It does exclude the treasurer. The treasurer is responsible for getting their bonds separately. So it does give you $50,000 worth of insurance coverage for 53 employees at a $1,000 deductible. That employee audit amount was given to us by not us, but to EMC by the audit, per the audit. Page 42, cyber liability. You have $500,000 of response expense. There's a lot of legal coverage, as you can see below. A lot of them up to $250,000. There's $500,000 for defense and liability coverage. $25,000 for identity coverage. Computer attack up to $500,000. And there are those other items like public relations, cyber extortion, misdirected payment fraud, network security defense, liability aggregate, and deductible. So I don't know currently who you have for the IT, whoever does your IT. I'm sure that they have cyber precautions put in place to handle any of that information. Page 43 gives you a little bit more detail in regards to the cyber coverage, and page 44. Any coverage on cyber? Any questions on cyber? Any coverages? Any questions? Okay. Page 45, this is where you're gonna see some increase in premium. It's same as in your property. Your mod factor, it's highlighted down below. It went to a 1.46. You're at a 1.2. That's a significant increase, which added an additional $75,000 premium to your work comp.
Is there any reason why?
You have a lot of different coverage, a lot of different claims in regards to the work comp, and I can't give names
Did
or.
it pass workman comp claims?
Yeah, so you had a good year falling off and a bad year coming on.
Okay.
So it's based off of your last 3 years.
I see.
So that's your hike. Mhm. In work comp alone, or in all of your claims totaled, this work comp year won't come on until next year, which a total of that was $1,769, but that won't come on until, hold on just a moment. Yeah. That won't come on until next year, so hopefully that will help drive down some of your costs next year. You do have a lot of open work comp claims.
Okay. It's understandable.
These audited numbers on the payroll are from the audit again. These codes are turned into EMC and what the payroll is on each one of these locations. EMC did give you a premium credit of $21,859. And in the past, the commission has decided to do a $2,000 deductible work comp deductible. So that helps with those small claims that, you know, maybe they're only $1,500, you guys are paying the deductible, and you've kind of got skin in the game to try to keep that amount down low. And so they give you a credit of that of $3,334. For those of you that are new, EMC has on page 46 an on-call nurse. And I will tell you, most of the municipalities that I have with EMC uses this big time. It helps take all the weight off of the department heads. So for example, if I'm Road and Bridge and I have a guy that gets injured, I'm the department head, he comes to me, I'm like, unless I know it's a 911, like they need to go to the emergency or it's kind of iffy or maybe it's small, he's like, here, call this EMC online nurse. She goes over what the policy is, not the policy, goes over what the injuries are, and basically says if it's an emergency or not, and that person will follow up. So that nurse will follow up with that employee, say 24 hours later, say it was poison ivy. So they said, okay, go ahead, treat it, tell them how to treat it, and then that nurse will follow up with that employee. It's huge, so that the employee doesn't feel like they have to answer to the department head in an injury. Injuries happen, and this is something that they can talk to a medical expert 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Say at 2 o'clock in the morning, the poison ivy is now spread to their eye, they're having problems with eyesight. They ask them some questions, and they're like, you know, go to the emergency room. They don't have to wait and talk to their department head the next day. They can call a nurse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's huge. And it helps keep your claims down as well. So that is an on-call nurse.
Excuse me, do our employees or department heads have that phone number? I didn't see it on.
Yes. Yeah. We'll reiterate again with them to make sure that they have that and just verify that.
Post it or something.
Yeah. The next page is 47, is the umbrella, and this goes over the coverages that you have below. So each occurrence is $1 million, so it's $1 million, and your aggregate is $2 million. And it goes under all of the coverages that are listed down below. You can see that cyber and drone liability is excluded, but it goes over the liability of your auto, your general liability, your employer's liability, your public official's liability, and your law enforcement liability. The next page is the premium summary, page 48. You will see the differences. It's a 14% increase from last year. The biggest hit, of course, as you can see, is your property and your workman's comp. And your umbrella is going to increase because your liability limits underneath have increased. So there's a little bit over $1,000 increase on that. So it's a 14% increase from last year. And I will tell you, currently right now for claims for just last year, we turned in over $110,787 worth of claims just in the last year, 2025. And those are on the general liability, the commercial auto, work comp, the linebacker or the board, law enforcement, and law enforcement has claims that are out.
Back on page 47, the drone liability, that insurance is not available.
You have coverage on it, the umbrella doesn't sit over it.
It's not available to get the umbrella on it.
No. Not for the extra, not for the umbrella, but we could raise the coverage on drone liability underneath, but not on the umbrella. So currently right now, for drone coverage,
$100,000.
is $100,000
$100,000 currently
on the drones
For liability.
for liability.
each.
Would you like to see additional quotes for liability on drones?
Do you have any reason why they're opted out? Why the company?
It's part of the ENC's form. They just don't, their umbrella form just doesn't cover that aspect of it. But like Angela said, we're happy to check on quotes and see if we can
If you want additional liability?
additional liability for that.
Yeah, maybe it's not an issue for an entity the size of the county. I mean, the odds are pretty low, but
How often are they flown?
and I don't know.
They're not like a crop, drone, so they're.
Sometimes if you've got big fires going on, you gotta use your drones just to try to get an idea of
The size.
the size. Of course, that's on the fire side, on the on the sheriff's side, I don't know how often that they would be out.
So your liability covers property damage and bodily injury that are caused by the drones. If you'd like, I can talk with Tom, see how often that they are, give you guys an additional quote when I come back next week and give you more of that information, and you guys could decide at that time.
Have we had any claims related to drones?
No.
I do know that they're smaller than compared to what the agriculture, and we've had problems with those before, but with damage. But they're small, I don't know if there's a need for it.
You know, and I guess my thought wasn't so much of an impact or anything, that liability because of something's done on a personal level or maybe,
Falls from the sky, hit something,
yeah,
hits
just
power
a
line.
thought. Yeah,
And that's legit, I think, on that, for misuse or something like that.
yeah, or, you know, maybe we're covered otherwise for, maybe that would be more of a person running it or whatever than, I don't know.
If you'd like, I could get additional quotes.
If I may, I think drones, unmanned aircraft, it depends on the size that they do require FFA approval and piloting qualifiers, and I don't know, I mean, that's where I agree with Angela, we could talk to Tom and see what what the capabilities are. I think they used them for like search and rescue, different, manhunts type situations and stuff like that. But we're definitely happy to bring back some quotes for you
We
next
can
week.
get some more information if you'd like and bring it back next week.
It might be okay, I don't know, maybe it's not important. It seemed like we got liability, 100,000 there, and we got $1 million on,
Your other liability.
plus our umbrella
Mhm.
on every other.
If they were misused in some way, I mean, would that crime coverage possibly cover part of that?
The crime coverage is for your employees.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be considered a crime if there's no
If an
money.
employee misused it, that would be.
That's what I'm thinking about.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of an example of what circumstance,
But intentional acts, insurance policies don't cover intentional acts. So that would be on that person, their liability, if they were to misuse equipment.
okay.
That's
Okay.
on, you don't
Even
want
though
to,
that may be I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, you're
even,
fine.
even though that may be a county employee, that
We're not responsible.
we wouldn't be,
it's not that you wouldn't be named in it, but they would be the ones responsible. That's, again, the court of law would charging and.
These were the
those acts.
negligences.
So,
Right.
I hope I'm not speaking out of turn there.
No.
I can tell you, law enforcement, several years ago, I worked with Eric, who's one of the main drone operators on the law enforcement side, and we went through and got FAA approval through that process because it required a letter from your local prosecutor. They have 3 or 4 other operators, I believe, that have gone through and achieved that same certification or approval. So on the law enforcement side, as Steve indicated, there's a emergency responder capacity. Your drone itself is a high dollar piece of equipment. I don't remember how much it is, $60,000 to $80,000 just for the drone itself. So they go through and they have regular training on the use and operation of the drone itself. Outside of law enforcement, I think there's other departments that utilize drones, and that's where, in my mind, you'd have more exposure. I think somebody using a drone and then somebody claiming that it was a violation of their Fourth Amendment rights and it was an illegal search, and that type of thing.
I thought.
That would be where there would be more exposure, I think, is law enforcement operating within the scope of what their duties and responsibilities are. They have a certain level of immunity that carries with them, as it does anything else that they do.
And maybe this is minimal, but I just hate it when something's got a low coverage to start with and then it's excluded from
Right.
the umbrella.
I can tell you in other states, and in some places in Kansas, the use of drones is, I don't think Kansas law is caught up with what some of the other states have done as far as entities, municipalities using drones for other business outside of law enforcement. So it's something to be aware of because it potentially will be in the courtroom soon.
Okay.
And we only have 2 drones.
I think
At this
Rogan-
time, that's all we have scheduled.
That's but I didn't know if any of the other departments other than law.
Yes, others do. I think Road and Bridge has a drone. I think, Economic Development has a drone. Do you have a drone?
So do we need to redo that because we're only insured for 2?
Well, I think it needs to be, if it's not a part of the coverage, it does need to be looked into. And I know, Economic Development was going through official training with a certified drone operator to get the certification.
We'll put a notice out to the
I'm not sure
department
about
heads
roads.
if anybody has
Vertebrate.
any drones that are not reported. Get that added on, and then I'll get you a quote for additional drones.
Okay.
And hopefully by that time I would have if there's other additional drones that we need to insure in their
Okay.
value.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back with the auto.
And then the
additional
comparison
quote.
on the auto.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess my thought on that auto is, guys, we've got enough vehicles listed there. I don't know what the premium's gonna come back. You could probably buy 2 or 3 of those vehicles every year. I mean, the county, I feel the county could stand to be self-insured on those type items.
And that's, the commission has agreed to that so many years in the past, I mean,
Yeah, okay,
makes economic sense, but I will
Right.
get that additional quotes for you.
okay, all right.
All right, gentlemen, that's what, and lady, that's what I have, for you. I'll go back and get those additional quotes for you, and
Okay, thank you so much for all your information.
do you have
Very good.
anything else, any
Yeah,
questions?
Just, the 14% is just, I mean, that's nationwide, I mean,
Overall.
that's an overall, that hasn't anything to do with the law enforcement, I mean, that's an increase overall.
Well, increase overall on your property, or on your, policy, yes, but a lot of that increase obviously is from your work comp and your property damage on the rates,
Oh,
based
okay,
on
fine,
rates.
fine,
Yes.
fine.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions?
So,
All right,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Yes, we'll be back next Monday.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll work better on it next time. Thank you. Any other copy?
Okay.
Okay.
Planning and Zoning Administrator Heidi Harris, discussion and possible approval of planning consultant contract. Good morning, Heidi.
We've done another year on our planning consultant contract. You guys have done it the last 2 years, and I'm asking that if you guys would renew it again. Nothing's changing in the contract other than just the effective dates of the contract. The rest of the services are gonna. Yes, sorry, this is Russ Davy, Bauman Company. He helps me with the questions I have, or the questions you guys have, or when we're working on regulations, for the county. So that's what Russ does for us. So I'd like to keep him on board for another year and just do it on a year-to-year basis. So in case there's changes you guys would like to make, you're only locked in for a year, so.
Okay.
Just get ready to mention the end date. You got it.
Yeah.
Just now.
I just saw that on there.
I saw that too, the computer likes to make sure when you're in the current year, it changes it back to that, so I think it did it on me again.
Okay, so it's,
Yeah, supposed
but
to be,
everything stays the same other than the
other than the
contract
year,
date.
it needs to be, December 31st of 2026, please.
Okay. I'd ask for a motion to enter into the contract for consulting services to assist the administration of land use regulations and planning services between Ballman, is that how you pronounce that? Company, PA, Russ Huey, and Coffee County, Kansas, for assistance in the administration of the county land use regulations and to provide other assistance deemed necessary to the support of the county up to 20 hours a month at a rate of $150 per hour beginning December 8th, 2025 through December 31st, 2026. Funds to come from the general fund courthouse general contractual line item.
So moved. I'll second.
Been moved by Abendroth and seconded by Barker. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you guys. I'll have them sign it and then I'll have that next week for you guys to finish the signatures.
Thanks, Harry.
So we want to take 5 or 6 minutes and
Yeah.
take a quick break before we start on all the applicants. Sorry, we're running behind. We asked too many insurance questions. I did, I guess. So we'll come back at 10:20. Okay. I guess we're back. We'll start with, Carrie Trossel, interest in serving on the fire board.
I have
Morning,
been.
Carrie.
I can't tell you how long. I went on when Mark Peters, sorry about that, Bill Walker.
Uh-huh.
That's a long time.
It's been a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. I've been on as long as Steve's been fired. Chief up there. I don't know when he went on, but
05.
05.
Uh-huh.
He was pretty close to me.
Yeah, because Bill Walker came on, oh gosh,
Lyle Williams was chairman when I came on.
yeah, it's been a long time.
So anyway, yes, I've been on the fire board for quite a few years. I'm still learning. Appreciate the commissioners approving our budget this last time around, because cost of this equipment to keep our firefighters safe and to extract people and help them out is going up. The SCBA's and air jacks and those different things that we bought. Just getting into a lot of money anymore.
You guys just bought a couple of Cascade systems, didn't you?
Cascade systems, is that what you're talking about, the air jacks in? I didn't know anything about them
For
until
the bottles?
Yes, and they bought the bottle, well, this air packs, SCBA's, bought them, and then I guess they bought the compressors too also.
One for,
North and
one for
Mhm.
north and here.
I wasn't at the last meeting, but, did that at the last meeting.
Yeah, that was approved for, Station 6 Lebo and then, Burlington.
So, anyway, appreciate you helping us out on all that. So,
We appreciate your efforts volunteering for these boards. Very important.
well, we'll say it's the first time I ever had to come in and apply for my job that I already had.
You guys got a pretty good board. I've been down there 24 years on Burlington Station, and it's gone pretty good.
I feel like everything's clicking along really well.
You guys,
You know,
do pretty-
Randall's doing a really good job keeping
Yeah.
a handle on everything. And, so,
Not too many hiccups down there.
no, but we do have challenges once in a while. Things we gotta work through, but, so anyway, is there anything else you needed, or?
So, you can probably answer this one. When's the application term over? Are we open till the end of?
Will be filled by December 31st is what's in the paper.
Yeah, okay. That's what I didn't know.
Saying the fire board term, that expires at the end of the year, is that right? Yeah, December 31st,
Okay.
which is the same for the hospital board also.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to reappoint Terry Trossel back to the fire board.
So second.
Been moved by Evan-Roth and seconded by McCurry. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're hired.
I'm hired. Well, thanks a lot, and appreciate everything you've done for us, so,
Okay.
talk to you later.
Right, take care.
Thanks, Gary.
Yep.
Okay. Steve Hopkins, interest in serving on the hospital board. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
For
Mainly for my own benefit, but yours as well, I did a talking paper, and you've got copies there, so I'll go through it if you'd like first, and you can ask questions.
That'd be fine.
So basically, I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've developed quite a care for the staff and our ability to provide timely quality health care to our customers in our county. I feel quite a commitment and a pride in using my experience and knowledge in helping mentor anyone seeking advice and guidance. I'm deeply invested and involved with our organization, individual staff, and we faced a lot of challenges, especially when it came on in 2014, and we enjoyed some successes from our efforts. My long-term service helps create a strong balance between seasoned members and those who are still learning their role. Due to healthcare's complexity, it takes years to fully understand, and it's a never-ending process to learn the process and learn all the regulations and the changes that we have to face. As demonstrated by the numerous board officer positions held, participation on multiple committees, engagement in conference and educational opportunities such as KHA, with Kansas Hospital Association. I had the ability and willingness to commit the time needed to stay actively engaged in the work of the board. And to help me get off my tipping point, because I was sort of on the fence, middle of the year thinking about this and stuff, it's actually got encouraged by some peers and the staff to continue another term.
Because that was, I can't even remember who might have mentioned that to me, that you were undecided.
I don't know.
But at that, you know, at one point.
Right.
So.
We've got some folks that, we're in a really good situation leadership-wise. The board members, Eric has done a fantastic job as chairman of the board, and
You're vice chair right now, is that
I
right?
am, yeah. I'll be candid with you. Last year, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, and Eric showed a tremendous amount of ability and leadership and promise, so I asked him to be chair this year. And I told him that I would do whatever I needed to help support him and stuff. And then also, middle of last year, Jobin was leaving, and we needed a new CEO, and Stacy had been, Jobin had been mentoring Stacy for that CEO position for a couple of years. We'd asked him to do that. And so I talked to Stacy, and she's not made me regret that recommendation whatsoever. She's been great. So I feel a commitment to them. They've both asked me to reapply and stick around, and sometimes you don't know what all you know, but when you get into stuff, some of the history is important. So I get to share some of that.
Okay.
How do you define the difference between the board's role and the CEO's role?
The CEO is the employee that reports to the board. According to our bylaws and constitution, we oversee the operation through the CEO, and that person, that position is responsible for the day-to-day operation of the hospital and staff.
Okay.
And I got thinking about that because of our last board meeting, Mark, and our bylaws and constitution, I actually got the pleasure of rewriting those in 2014, and we've edited them as we've gone on throughout the years. But it was modeled over KHA's bylaws and constitution, so it's fairly common across Kansas for the hospitals to be set up in that manner.
I usually ask this question to a lot of the candidates, but I didn't do it to keep Carrie then. What potential conflicts of interest, personal, professional, or financial, might arise for you in this role, and how would you handle it?
I do not have any, and what we do is for annually for new board members as well as existing, is we have a conflict of interest statement that has to be filled out and acknowledged to that extent.
With reading your letter
Yes, sir.
that you sent to us, it says you're offering your time and expertise. Explain to me what you mean by expertise.
I was a leadership role at Wolf Creek the last 21, 22 years. So there's a lot of, they provide us a tremendous amount of training throughout those years and the experience of doing leadership roles and stuff. I also had, I don't know if it was a pleasure, after some points it wasn't, but I also had the pleasure of getting educated in root cause analysis for accident investigation, corrective action, determination, that type of thing. And I led the incident investigation team in 2012, January, the plant trip out at Wolf Creek. It was about a 4-month process and a lot of effort and stuff to finally get into the root cause of number 2.
You've been on the board 12 years.
Any other questions? Did we get a chance to look through this paperwork we passed around? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for all your service.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, Jody Thomas, interest in serving the hospital board.
How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing, Matt?
Good. I know a couple of you guys, but I'm Jody Thomas, and I live in Waverly. I've been on the hospital board for 9 years, so if I get renewed, that'll move me into my 10th year. My background is I worked at the hospital here for 18 years, one day shy of 18 years, from 84 until 2001, where I took a job for a company named Cerner. It's a healthcare software company out of Kansas City. So I traveled and I worked with, we did installation of the healthcare software for community hospitals to critical access hospitals. And I got to kind of understand how other hospitals run and see how they run and see where, you know, we can add, you know, some suggestion and such. I felt like, I think I got on the board in 14 or 15, and that was because, and I'm retired now, so I have the time to put into doing more with the board and with our community. But I felt like having that experience and exposure that I had in my work career, that it gives me opportunity to maybe add some value to our hospital and our community. Now, I can't do as much as Steve did. I wish he get that prepared.
You're presently on the board, right?
I am, for 9 years.
I'm sorry, you probably said that.
What do you see as the biggest challenge that the hospital faces in the coming time?
Well, you probably heard this a time or two, but the financials of the hospital, and for people to understand, I feel like with our current board and our CEO and CFO, I think it's been great, them coming to you and giving you an overview of kind of where we're at and help you understand it isn't just the money coming in, it's the money going out and how much we get from insurances and all that. So it's very diverse on how that all works, but I feel like giving you guys a little bit of input and idea on what the hospital has to deal with, that's probably the hardest thing.
That's our toughest decision too.
It is.
And that's always gonna be a challenge, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
the way.
It is, and it's not gonna get any better, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna get a little worse
Yeah.
because of where we're at now.
Okay, I'll ask them a question.
Come on.
What potential conflicts of interest, personal, professional, or financial, might arise for you in this role, and how would you handle it?
Like I said, I'm retired, so I'm home a lot, and I don't feel like, unless, all my family is in Iowa, so that would be the only time that I would have to kind of back out or dial in remote, which we do that anyway, if one of us has to go. So I don't see that there's many challenges for that for me.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us about your experience on the board that would make you a better candidate?
Well, I've been, like I said, at the hospital on the board for 9 years, and I've worked at the hospital, et cetera. Since being on the board, we've been through, I think, 4 CEOs, a couple CFOs, and the exposure to all that has been good to understand. And I'm on the finance committee now, and that's challenging in itself to get to understand all of those numbers and where they go and what they all mean to us and for the future.
I guess expanding on that, I was gonna ask about, your comfort level with reviewing financial statements, but, what key indicators do you believe a hospital board should monitor regularly, I guess, concerning financials? And why?
Okay, that's a tough one. It's important because we need to understand where our money's at, where our money is going, and what we need to do with that money. It's a tough one. That's a tough question. But having that executive finance committee, we have a great committee. We have, a wonderful CFO. We have Stacy, the CEO, and they've made a big difference in the communication and kind of how all of that works. So we as a board understand a little more on what we need to do financially.
Do you feel like it's a more transparent, more open communication overall with the new administration in place?
I do believe so, yes. Yeah. There really isn't any secret. They can't really hide anything because the CFO is bringing things to our attention that we hadn't seen before too. So it's really good he's fleshing things out.
Anybody have anything else? Well, thank you so much, and thanks for your prior service to the board.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Galen Leadham, interest in serving on the hospital board. Good morning.
I did print out a couple resumes for you guys so that you have my work history. And I did that. And I'll tell you good morning, and I did prepare a little something to talk about. So my name is Galen Leadham, and I do live in Burlington, Kansas, and I've lived here for 12 years. And I feel I bring a unique blend of professionalism and personal insight into healthcare, shaped by a career both in metropolitan hospitals like Overland Park Regional, Shawnee Mission Medical Center, and currently or post-currently rural hospital systems such as Coffee County Health System in Burlington, where I also engaged in the Leroy Clinic when it was open and Waverly Clinic with Ashton Buying. Those roles included hospital floor staff, in-home health services, skilled nursing facilities, and physician clinics. In these RN positions, I have collaborated closely with upper administration, nursing department heads, physicians, and other nursing staff, gaining valuable experience on both clinical care and organizational leadership. Over the past 4 years, I have worked for Sunflower Plan of Kansas, a subsidiary of Centene Corporation, coordinating services and tackling Medicaid and Medicare challenges, which has expanded my understanding of reimbursement and regulatory issues. I also work with large hospitals across the state of Kansas, including their physicians, specialty departments, physician clinics, and DME companies to promote waiver services related to home community-based services, including the intellectual and developmental disability waiver, which is especially meaningful to our county. Currently pursuing my BSN, I remain engaged in healthcare technology and informatics to improve documentation, coding, and billing accuracy. Having lived in Coffee County for over 12 years, I am deeply committed to our rural healthcare system and dedicated to enhancing patient safety, expanding specialty services, and promoting technology adoption. I see myself as an innovator and a team-oriented professional who fosters strong relationships, offers a fresh and unbiased perspective to coffee health systems, meeting the needs of our community. I will make monthly board meetings a priority for my attendance, and I am committed to keeping our hospital up to date and viable to our community, but not only Coffee County, but also trusted resources surrounding our area. That's why I want to be on the board. I'm open to all sorts of questions.
So right now, you have no connection to Coffee Health System?
I am not employed by Coffee Health Systems and have not been for over 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
How long was you with them when you was employed by them?
Almost 9 to 10 years. Yeah. And really loved every minute of it.
So you feel you're familiar with the routine and how things work up there?
I
Or
am.
used to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, even further back, I started my career as a CNA, so a nursing assistant, did medical assistant, was an LPN, and now a registered nurse, so,
Advanced nicely?
kind of seen, the backwards part of all of that, working very closely with our physicians, too, so,
And my question I'm asking is,
yeah.
what potential conflicts of interest, whether it be personal, professional, or financial, might rise for you in this role, and how would you handle them?
I couldn't particularly think of a conflict of interest that I don't have an example of that. I don't owe the county or the hospital any money. I do work for Sunflower Medicaid. The national company is Centene. I'm not aware that that would be a conflict. So as of this time, I'm going to tell you that I don't. I'm a very upfront person, so at any moment that I felt like there was a conflict of interest, I'd be the first one to tell you. It's kind of a nurse's motto to be truthful, right?
I guess I could ask this to, the hospital board, I guess, is governed by laws like COMA and CORA. What's your philosophy on transparency and public accountability for a taxpayer-funded institution?
Okay, so I'm just going to reply like this. So I don't always know everything. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything, but I'm really good at asking questions. So the question would be, I don't know what COMA and CORA.
It's Open Meetings Act, Kansas Open Meetings Act, and then
Okay.
Kansas Open Records Act.
Okay.
I guess basically questions about transparency.
100% transparent. I don't know of any organization that wouldn't want to be transparent. So if I felt like somebody wasn't being transparent, you're probably not the person. I'm not the person for you. I guess I would say that. I'm very transparent, and I would hope that our organization be very transparent.
Working with this Centene Corporation?
Yes.
That's a lot on billing that you help with?
It's not. So Centene Corporation is actually the mothership of managed care organizations. So
Okay.
Sunflower, United Healthcare, and Healthy Blue are currently the contracted MCOs for the state of Kansas. So under Sunflower, I work as a case manager. So I don't do any building. I'm not even in utilization management. I'm in case management. So I provide the care or knowledge and the liaison between insurance and then my members at home, making sure they have everything that they need to care for the individual, whether it's an infant to an adult.
That you have a background in knowing the insurance?
I do
providers.
now. And I'll
Okay.
tell you, the first thing when I was in the hospital working as an RN, I didn't want to deal with insurance at all.
Sure.
But that's what I've done for the last 4 years. So I do have an interesting connection between the two, and now can see the whole picture between hospital reimbursement, what we as the insurance company are going to cover, and then how it affects my members at home.
So this is something that you could provide an expertise on to the board?
I feel like it, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm gaining.
Well,
Yes, yeah.
you'd have knowledge of
I
it.
do.
You wouldn't be like one of us guys trying to go in there and talk about.
No,
insurance.
I think I have a very good perspective of insurance, yeah. And then the needs of the community, especially Medicare and Medicaid, yeah.
Okay.
Good?
Okay, anybody
Love
else have anything else?
Okay.
Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
love the questions.
Okay. Perry Chapman, interest in serving on the hospital board. Good morning.
Morning. Hi, Corey. How are you?
Perry Chapman. Lived in Ottawa for 40 years and moved to Waverly about 8 years ago. Retired. Started off my career as a CPA in Ottawa. Wound up spending about 30 years working at Baker University, both as a financial controller and then IT for the remainder of my time at Baker. After that, I was offered early retirement and wound up working for the Layton Center in Ottawa, which is a mental health center. So in that role, I got quite a bit of financial background, IT background, and healthcare background. And as the CFO of the mental health center, got firsthand experience in how finances work. In that role, I was reporting to a board on a monthly basis, and since I've been on the hospital board now, finished my first term is 3 years. Been on the finance committee for all 3 years, and treasurer as head of the finance committee the last 2 years. So, in looking at some of the challenges that most hospitals face, obviously you've heard this before, financial issues are the biggest thing that we're all dealing with. So I don't see my role as part of my role as a finance committee is to help the administration bring financial information to the board so that the board actually understands better what's going on. And there's one of the board one of the pages in the monthly report that I actually designed. It's got key performance indicators that allow us to help monitor that. That is continually evolving, and so I feel like the board now has much better information to go with than we did a year ago. So, and as I've been on some other boards, so I've experienced how boards work and the role of the board members, and the fact, as Steve talked about, the board is responsible for hiring the CEO, and the CEO takes care of everything else. And in the KHA meetings that I've been to, they've talked about the role of board members, and in their view, the main focus of board members on hospital boards should be to provide strategic direction. And when you don't understand how healthcare works, how finance works and all that, it's going to be very difficult to provide strategic direction for the hospital. So in that regard, I feel like I have something to offer and willing to serve. So
You lived in Ottawa for 4 years, but you were originally from Waverly.
right.
Yeah, that's where your family was.
Well, I grew up, my dad was in the Air Force,
Yeah,
so
right.
I grew up in a lot of places,
right.
but Waverly is what I call home, and why we moved back from Ottawa. I've had experience putting together budgets for boards to review and dealing with how we're gonna cut costs so we can manage that. So not that that's not the role I have as a board member, but being able to ask questions and see if there are things that might be options to look at for reducing costs. We don't have a whole lot of options when it comes to revenue. We provide bills, and the insurance companies, Medicare and Medicaid, tell us what they're gonna pay, so we don't have too much control there.
So, in your view, what's the biggest challenge facing Coffee Health System, and what's the board's role in trying to address that?
Well, statewide, I think probably even nationwide, average hospital's losing 6% on their operations. And if it's not for county support and other types of fundraising, they're gonna be closing their doors. So, I think the latest, information I had, there were 60 hospitals in this state of Kansas that are at risk of being closed for financial reasons. So just, again, trying to help ask questions and make sure that our financial situation's as good as possible. Is about all I can do as a board member. And,
Okay, then I'll ask you my question also. What potential conflicts of interest, personal, professional, or financial, might arise for you in this role, and how would you handle that?
the only potential conflict I could think of would be if I wound up owing money and not paying my bill. In terms of anything else, I can't imagine any conflict, and if there was some conflict that came up, I'd have to abstain on voting on whatever issue that might be affected by that conflict.
Perry, with your background with budgets, and you talked a lot about collecting monies and trying to watch budgets and everything, what ideas do you have or that would help Coffee Health Systems help collect more money?
Well, getting procedures set up so that all the bills are sent out as accurate as possible, as quickly as possible, and processed as efficiently as possible. And after that, the self-pay clients is the biggest area where you're not going to collect. You're only going to collect maybe 20% of what individuals owe you. Trying to work with those individuals as much as possible to make sure you're able to collect that. And Ray has come in this year, really updated the procedures, and done a much better job. And as he talks about in the monthly board meetings, they're collecting a higher percentage of the charges that they bill this year than they have in the past, and that's been a good thing. In terms of a role as a board member, I don't know that I'm in a position to offer specific ideas on what could change without having a much better knowledge of the internal workings of the operation as it is now.
But would you feel comfortable presenting those ideas if you had that knowledge?
Sure. I think in the 3 years I've been on the board, I have asked a number of questions that have prompted thought and consideration by the administration. So,
Anybody have anything else? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for your service to the board. Okay, Brenda Hicks, interest in serving on the hospital board. Good morning.
Morning. How did you want me to start?
Oh, I guess tell us a little about yourself and your interest for being on the board,
Okay.
probably.
My interest on the board is to do my part in helping keep the hospital open. I know we've had, like the OB department has closed. We don't have as many outpatient physicians coming into the specialty clinics. And as a local, I really can't see having to travel if you have an emergency an hour or more away. Even by ambulance, especially where I live, just 20 minutes out of town, you would have to wait for and if you don't have a hospital, are we going to have an ambulance? So, I left the clinic. I worked for the clinic for 12 years, 2006 to 2018. I started out as part-time. I was just supposed to be PRN, actually. Ended up going into data entry, worked full-time the entire time, so they brought me in as full-time. I worked there, I moved to registration, and I did some patient coordinator work when they switched over to patient coordinators. So I worked directly with the doctors. I worked in all of the clinics. I trained, I did the registration procedures. We didn't have any when I first started, and I found that it would be easier to get everybody on the same page if we had a written procedure. So I did that with the help of the employees that reported to me. By that time, I was the lead at the front office. Trained Kelly Shepard when she was hired to be registration over at the physical therapy and home health. Worked in outpatient, worked with Dr. Greenfield. And I worked in all, like I said, the Yates Center, Gridley, Leroy, Waverly. When I was in Gridley, I dealt directly with the board members who would come in because they were concerned when I started working down there. Jim had left. There was no provider down there. The Gridley community was very concerned that the clinic was going to close, and it went for a long time without a provider. I was down there by myself for quite a while.
It was in Gridley, you said?
Gridley. Yeah, the Gridley clinic. They would, Jim and Judy, I believe, they would come in and I would give them like how many phone calls I had or people that would come in and I had to direct them to one of the other clinics. So it was nice when we finally got a provider that was full-time. I was very sad to see the Leroy clinic close. Had the community been more involved, maybe they could have done something. And that's why I'm here. Because without community involvement, we're not going to have a hospital.
That's right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with keeping the local community in our hospital.
Yes.
So.
Is there anything else you'd like to know about me, other than my interest in being here?
I think you kind of led on to a little bit of what you see as being the biggest challenge for Coffee Health Systems.
Right now, getting outpatient doctors back in. I've heard people in the community saying, they don't like having to travel. It's more convenient. It's shopping local if you're coming here.
So why are they traveling?
Well, some of it is that we don't have the outpatient doctors.
Okay.
Other thing, I know
Services
with
being
OB,
cut.
I know some of it was the fear that they might have an issue with their infant and it wouldn't be taken care of. Like my son and daughter-in-law, when they lived in New Strong, they were pregnant with my first grandson, and they actually traveled to Topeka because they were concerned about not having a NICU. And they didn't end up needing the NICU, but my daughter-in-law ended up having health problems where she had to stay a few extra days. Probably, it was hemorrhaging. I'm sure the hospital here could have taken care of that, but they were more concerned about the infant. I don't know that there's anything we can do about that overnight, but
Start somewhere.
yes.
How do you define the difference between the board's role and that of the CEO?
The board's role is more oversight in making sure that the policies are followed by the CEO, the hiring of the CEO, and job performance on that person.
I'll just give my question I've asked everybody else. What potential conflict of interest, personal, professional, or financial, might arise for you in this position, and how would you handle that?
I can't think of any conflict of interest that might arise. If there were one, other than maybe a conflict with somebody else on the board, if they had an issue with me, I can pretty much get along with anybody. and work with anyone, but, if there were an issue to arise, I would deal with it directly, and if that didn't help, then work with the other board members to resolve the issue, so that we could all work together.
Tell us about your comfort level in reviewing financial statements.
I'm not well versed on finances. I wouldn't have an issue looking at it and then, figuring out. I always want to learn. I know you can see in my resume that I finished my degree late in life. And I actually started working toward those degrees in 2008 when the economy crashed, because everybody asked me, why are you going to school? And I said, well, I want to be the last person fired if it comes to that. Because at the time we had so many issues at the hospital.
For we're Strayer University.
They're actually, their home base is Washington DC. I did my online courses through.
It's online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they did have some in the Knoxville area, which was my campus. They did have some where you could go on campus until 2020, and then they closed that.
How many years was it you said you worked there previously?
12.
12 years?
Yeah, so I learned a lot of things over those 12 years. Why we can have a clinic in Yates Center and why we couldn't have one in Madison, because I know they were looking at buying the Madison clinic, and they found because there's a hospital in Lyon County, they can't have a clinic there, but there's no hospital in Woodson County. And so it's okay with the state of Kansas. Because they were in the process of buying the Madison clinic when Dr. Brown went out of business. And then the state of Kansas stepped in and said, no, you cannot.
Because of the location.
Yeah, because there's already a hospital.
Because there's already a hospital, yeah.
Yeah, and so then the Neosho ended up winning.
It couldn't be out of county.
Right.
Couldn't own it then.
Yeah. But Woodson County doesn't have a hospital.
Right.
So they don't have access to health care, which is where we don't want to be.
Exactly. That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions? Nope. Okay, sure want to thank you for your interest, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
I guess we want to move on to the next item on the agenda. Road and Bridge Superintendent Ryan Durst, high-risk rural grant application. Good morning.
Good morning, how's everybody?
Good.
Wonderful. You better?
I got some questions for you maybe if you want to do an interview.
Yeah, I was going over the weather last week and my voice apparently left and struggled to come back, so I'm gonna do the best I can here today. But yeah, I don't have any action items. I do have some discussion points on a few things. A couple things Keith's been working on helping us with, so we'll probably get those out of the way, and then I've got a couple things, and if there's anything at the end, we'll discuss what we need to. But the first one we'll talk about is this high-risk rural roads grant and program, and so I think I'll just let Keith kind of explain that and the project a little bit, and give you some information in there.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm gonna hand out just.
Sorry. So the high-risk rural road is a federal program. The federal money that you apply for it through KDOT. Okay. It is 90-10 money, 10% local, so that's a pretty good deal. The intent of it is to improve safety on rural roads. Okay. They have a couple of options. One is a systemic option where you're kind of looking at a system, and
You don't necessarily have to have a lot of crashes on that system, but it's like ripe for crashes, okay? It's got characteristics that would lead to serious injury and fatal crashes, okay? And then they have the other category, which is more of a specific location, like an intersection, if you're having problems with that. So, what we're looking at is, Trefoil from 16th Road to 25th Road. And that section of road was identified in the, local road safety plan as one that's, area of concern. Ryan can speak more to this, but, I understand there's a lot of plant employees at the nuclear plant that use this road, so the traffic is, relatively high. There's a lot of narrow culverts on this section of road, and so that's what this application would be applying for, is money to either extend or replace culverts and get those head walls away from the road, flatten the slopes at those culverts, provide a 6-foot shoulder at those culverts. So basically just improving the roadside safety, which is right in the wheelhouse of this HRRR program. That's what they're wanting to do. So I believe you have an estimate there in front of you. That obviously disclaimer, that's done without any kind of surveying or anything, but it should be a good ballpark estimate. On that estimate, I've split up the portion of the project that would be applied for through HRRR, and then Ryan's also interested in an overlay on that 9 miles. So we used HRRR. We were awarded HRRR money in Douglas County for a couple projects, and what they approved were the roadside improvements. Okay, so up there we had removing trees that block sight distance and adding shoulders and flattening slopes. That went through. We also had pavement work. We wanted to patch the pavement and overlay it. That did not go through on the HRRR, so that's why it's split out this way. I think you've got a few photos there that kind of representative of some of the culverts there. Pretty sharp drop-offs right along the edge of the road, so that's what this would be targeted towards, is improving that situation. Eventually, it would be really nice to put shoulders on that whole 9 miles. That's a huge project. So this would just be looking at the culverts. Okay, anything else?
It's pretty good. So we have HRRR. The last project we had was the old 50, was one that that we did, and so he kind of give you the breakouts on the estimated cost. So on the extension of the culverts, we'd be looking at around 300,000, I think, and then the overlay is, obviously a little more, but that's more maintenance side of things. That's kind of how we did it on 50. We didn't have the overlay, was not a part of the HHR project, but that's something that we knew we were going to have to do a maintenance overlay anyway. Same type deal here. That's, it can use a maintenance overlay periodically, and so we would time that in to, with a project like this. The benefit side of it is just tremendous. It's extremely steep 4 slopes. There's other stretches of road in the county the same way that are identified that I think would be future projects. Fauna going south. South Old 50 is one that's identified in our local road safety plan. So that would be one that I would do a similar type project. And there's isolated areas around the county. There's some on Old 50 where the some structures could be widened out, and so I think that's a good use of funds, a good use of money. This is a good way to get a lot of that cost taken care of with some of the funding that's available. I think the deadline for this is the end of the month to put in for it, so kind of our plans is to go ahead and pursue it. And
Very good.
if you guys have any other questions on this,
You gotta apply for this by the end of
Yeah.
December?
by the end of December. And so this would be for 2028 funds, actually. So it's down the road a little bit, but,
What are you needing from us, Ryan?
oh, nothing, this is just discussion, I'm just letting you guys know that
Okay.
we're pursuing this and going forward, so, I mean, down the road, if we're awarded, there'll be some cost. We'd have to figure out exactly what this project will cost and, the dollar figures. We have some money in special highway now, but that's a few years down the road, so that'd just be the planning for that. Wolf Creek's given us a letter of support, to submit with this application, so I think that'll help and go a long ways with having their support.
There is a lot of traffic on that road.
Yeah, a lot of traffic, and, that's an emergency route, and that's a evacuation route for Wolf Creek, and, a lot of their personnel travels that road, so it's a high volume, high traffic road.
So this consolidated estimate, that we'd be looking at 10% of that, is that the figure we'd be looking at?
It would actually be on the,
10% of the HRR.
yeah, the total estimate for, the consolidated is including this maintenance overlay into that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That overlay would be all our responsibility.
That would be non-participating in something like this, we would have to cover that 100%.
Okay, I got you here on the line.
The 1.8?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. Yep. So, yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show you what we've been working on there, so we'll pursue.
How much of an increase do you anticipate this would be between now and 2028?
Well, these are very rough estimates, so I don't know that would be much different than what we're showing here. There obviously will be some, but, yeah, hopefully it's not like the last 4 years, but you never know. So, alright, next, some bridge replacement stuff. So, we've been working on kind of a long-term plan and really start moving forward with our replacement plans. This is something Keith really helped us out with. So, let Keith talk a little bit about this and how we got to where we're at here.
So I think the intent here is to come up with a list of bridges that should be on on the county's radar to get, to address. And I think Ryan's hope and intention is to get consulting and some design work done, kind of working down this list. So I started out, of course, I didn't know anything about all bridges when I came here, but so I looked through all the bridge files. I went through the inspection reports that your consultants provide, and pulled files out of Ryan's office and looked through all those. And then I drove around and just looked at all the bridges to have a sense of them. And so this was kind of my recommended list. I'll say something about a couple of these bridges. Of course, the first bridge on the list, bridge number 2, that's already got plans and it's already scheduled for construction. 165 is the bridge there, just on the southwest side of Leroy. And that's the long bridge over the Neosho River. That would be a very expensive bridge to replace. It's a fracture critical bridge, meaning that it's got non-redundant steel tension members. So inspections are more expensive on that, much more intensive inspections. When I looked at that, I thought this might be a candidate for rehabilitation rather than total replacement. And the reason I thought that is the reason it's fracture critical is there's two big girders that's holding up the bridge. And so it's non-redundant. If one girder failed, then the bridge would fail. And then it's got floor beams that go crossways across the girders, and then it's got stringers that support that deck. If two girders could be added to that bridge, it would not be fracture critical anymore, and we could get the load posting off of it, and might even be able to widen it a little bit. So it would be removing the deck, removing the floor beams, adding and the stringers, and adding two girders. Okay. Now, I haven't done a detailed structural study of that, and whether that can be done. It sure looks like it could to me, and so I would recommend having your county engineer or some consultant take a detailed look at that, if that's an option. If it is, I think it would be quite a bit less, obviously, than replacing the bridge. One of the things you get concerned about on a river bridge like that is the permitting process. So if you're going to put a new bridge in there, I would anticipate it's going to be quite a bit longer, because the rules now are a little more strict, a lot more strict, as far as spanning the floodway and the floodplain and all that. So if it's rehabilitated, that takes that off the table. You're still using the same abutments, the same piers. You're not affecting the river in any way.
So that would exempt you from those.
Yeah, you're not changing anything below the ordinary high water mark. You're not putting in piers, you're not doing anything. It's the same bridge as far as the river is concerned.
You're just reinforcing. You're just reinforcing that bridge.
Right, so it'd be removing the deck, removing the stringers and the floor beams, putting two girders in. And the new deck could be designed so it could be widened a little bit, not a lot, but maybe a foot on each side, something like that, because I know it's a pretty narrow bridge.
Right.
So that's why that's highlighted yellow, and it says rehabilitation candidate.
Yeah, when I got on the board, talking about a major thing that was coming down the line, and just looking at it, I mean, I went down and walked underneath it, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
But,
it really does. It really does. I think the girders look pretty good. It may need paint or something, but they look pretty good.
And
And the deck looks pretty bad right now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, the deck's doesn't look great on top anyhow.
Right. But the bad thing about doing that is then you'd have that bridge closed to do all that work, and you wouldn't have another bridge to cross the river there. If you replace the bridge, you could build a new bridge on an offset alignment, keep that existing bridge open.
Yeah.
But it'd be a lot more money.
If you were to rehab, about how long would it be closed?
Oh, one construction season, yeah.
Define construction season, is that like 6 or 8 months?
March to October or something like that.
Okay.
So, once I kind of had this list, and Ryan and Kenny at the office looked at it, and we moved some things around, and they highlighted some of these bridges to possibly bundle projects. I think Ryan could talk more about that. I will say overall, all bridges are really pretty good. Pretty good. A lot of them don't rate out so high. If you look at the posting level on the column, a lot of them are more than 40% below median lows. but when you look at them, they're really not in bad shape. I might point out, the ones highlighted blue and, numbers 4 and 5 there, 110 and 109. Those are out on 16th Road, and I put those in there. Those are box bridges, and they're under a lot of fill, and a lot of guardrail, and very steep slopes. Okay, so I put those in there more for road safety than the bridge itself needing to be replaced. Any other questions? And this would obviously be a fluid document, so every year relook at this and maybe move some things up or move some things down.
Okay.
So on your color coded key, there's, I get the possible bundled projects, so ones that are the same color could be done together. But down there on number 17, that's like a red.
Yeah, I think that was one that Ryan Kenny added. And so I'm not sure why it's highlighted red. I think probably just to point out that it, maybe to me, that it was added.
Okay.
These two bridges that you've got that are in poor condition, are they something that we need to be getting on soon?
Yeah, the two are, the first one, number 2, and that's scheduled for construction next spring.
Yeah, it's going to bed here next month.
And then the other one is there southeast of Leroy, 156. And I tell you what, that is just, it's not even road posted. Apparently it rates out good, but it's rated poor. It's an extremely old bridge, doesn't have hardly any traffic. It's a small bridge. I put it in there because it's rated poor. You're gonna have to do something with it.
That's where you turn right off that corner of Neosho Falls Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like out of all the bridges, it has the least replacement cost.
Yeah.
It's just barely long enough to be considered a bridge.
That's more like a culvert.
But it's not very, if I recall right, it's not very wide.
No.
Yeah, it's not. Couldn't use there with equipment.
So that kind of gives a little understanding on how we come up with this list and what we were looking at.
Okay.
So we have 240 bridges. We kind of get some estimated costs there. Those are probably conservative. I'd say on average you're looking at $750,000 to $800,000 an average per bridge. I think expected lifespan of a bridge is roughly 100 years. So, 240 bridges. Really, a guy should be replacing a couple bridges a year to be proactive. Otherwise, at some point you'll get to where you'll start getting load rated so much that, eventually you'll have to start closing them. This is just kind of a plan moving forward on, how to take care of some of these bridges that need replaced. I think ideally we should be looking at a couple structures a year as a goal. There's potential funding out there that we can go after. That's not always a guarantee. They have a limited amount of funds out there. So if we have a bridge like B2 that's closed down to one lane for a couple of years, obviously that's a pretty good candidate to get funding. You know, I don't know that it's a good option to wait till bridges get to that point to try to wait for those dollars. You know, right now, Special Bridge, we kind of have planned for that Leroy Bridge replacement. I've always been told that was gonna be a $4 million bridge. Well, now, you know, Keith, possibly we have some options that's gonna be a little cheaper down there, so we've kind of have prepared for that some. So our Special Bridge right now, we have nearly $7 million in that account. You know, we need to build some bridges with those funds. That's what they're intended for. You know, I think we should be looking at getting 2 to 3, at least 2 built a year, then have some in the process of the design. You know, I think as we're putting in for grants, if we can submit plans with those that are 80% complete, you know, we've already got something vested in that and some dollars tied up that, you know, and that goes along with those grant applications. Pairing bridges together, I mean, that's a benefit for us. You know, contractors, if they can get within a couple miles, you know, they don't have to travel as much, mobilization's cheaper, and a lot of times they'll bring in 2 crews, and, you know, they can have, manage 2 crews that way, so.
Brian, are these some bridges that the county intends to do ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, this would be contracted bridges here is what these are.
Okay.
What these are here. I don't think any of these we would look at doing ourselves.
Okay.
This would be just contracted bridges here.
So when you say do 2, 3 bridges a year?
We're looking at a couple $1 million a year is what we should be looking to spend on bridges.
Okay.
2, 2.5. You know, so that's kind of where I see this, you know, special bridge account. You know, I think after the first of the year, it's gonna have $7 million in it. You know, well, it should really be around 3. I think it should how that account should be. I mean, we shouldn't have that many funds tied up, you know, in an account there. I mean, it's a.
You need to use it up.
Well, yeah, that's it. And that's. I mean, that's the intentions of it is for the bridge stuff. I mean,
I mean, I guess we wanna get the use we can out of the existing bridges if they're doing the job, but yet, like you say, you gotta.
Well, that's it. You don't wanna be replacing bridges just to replace them. I mean,
right.
You know, we got.
You know, like, looks like you got plenty that are ready for.
Well, when you're looking at condition of the bridges and, you know, width is a big one nowadays, the size of them. I mean, farm equipment, you know, everything's getting bigger. You know, that's where you look at our asphalt roads and, you know, some of this big farm equipment when you meet it, and it's just, if you don't have shoulders on some of these roads, it's.
Pushing the edge.
Oh, yeah, big time, and so, you know, we just need to,
Widen up.
well, do what we can, but, you know, we definitely don't wanna be throwing money away. We wanna be sensible how we're spending our dollars.
Right, no, that wasn't what I mean.
Yeah,
I just mean,
no, absolutely.
I'm just trying to, I guess I didn't phrase that right.
No,
I mean,
no.
we're looking at replacing stuff that needs replaced, not just building them because we got money in the bank.
No,
That's what
absolutely
I'm
right.
trying to say.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Usually the longer they go, the more they cost to replace.
Yeah, and restructures, the cost of them continues to go up.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's just kind of the plan that we've come up with there, so I'll probably finalize this and have something a little more formalized, and then I'll probably have a motion just to state the discussion that we've had, that way we have something, you know, like I said, this is gonna be something that every year will get updated. Bridges will go off, bridges will go on, stuff will get moved around, as far as what, you know, changes or stuff that makes sense. But I would like to have a motion at some point, just so we have something to track our discussions that we've had. Any more questions on that?
I believe so.
Alright.
I do believe on this thing, putting your work list on.
Oh,
on your
no,
next-
yeah,
on your
no,
next
that,
Go
yeah.
around on things like that.
Yeah.
Just because the complaints, and we just touched on it.
Well,
The-
so these
the
are 2028 funds, so, I mean,
Right,
ideally,
right.
you need to be looking really far ahead on
Right,
projects like
yes,
this. And that, now that I have Keith helping here in the office, it makes it easier for us to, you know, work on stuff like this and be on the front side of that. So, you know, I would say, you know, the next one we'll put in for will probably be that Fauna one.
If I get any complaints up there, that's probably the biggest thing.
Oh, it is.
How steep those ditches
Yeah.
are and narrow the roads are, and you touched on the bigger farm equipment getting up and down.
Yeah.
And that's another road like Trefoil that is very busy.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, lay down yard discussion. So I had talked with you guys a while back about the opportunity of potentially leasing a few acres from this Blackberry, where they were.
On Polk Road?
Yeah, on Polk Road, it'd be on Jimmy Eisman's, where Blackberry had built that lay down yard. Okay. So this is just a couple pictures here you can hand around on what's out there now. This map here, I just kind of highlighted what our active quarries, are basically the red dots on that map, are the active quarries that we use. And then the blue dots, there's one there by Burlington, that's basically just where we have lay down area, somewhere where we can stockpile material. So the one by Burlington is out by landfill, and then the one up there north, center of the county, that's JSB area there, 75 and 50, so we do stockpile dirt and whatnot material there. You can see down in the southwest quadrant, there's not, there's no quarries close.
Southeast.
Sorry, the southeast quadrant, Leroy area. Yeah, so it's just, getting rock down, anywhere around Aliceville over in there, it becomes a little more of a jaunt, to get rock down there. We started stockpiling rock out the landfill here 2 years ago, and just getting us that much closer from Paxton's is just, such a benefit. During the day, when we're hauling down to the blade guy, we're able to get a lot more rock hauled if we have a location that's closer to get it from.
What's the availability of that one on 12th Road? Is that?
So it's available. I've been having some discussions. You guys give me permission to pursue it and just see. So I've been in some discussions with the landowner. That's kind of where we're at today. So on the price, we're looking at 3 acres out there is what we're looking at leasing on that laydown yard. So right now the request is $200 an acre per month. That comes up to $7,200 a year is what they're looking at for a lease agreement there.
And do it yearly?
Well, and I think that would be, I would want a yearly lease. It could be a 5-year or 10-year, but I want it, yearly to look at it, because we may decide that 2 acres is enough, or we may decide we want 4 or 5 acres. So flexibility is there, but I think it could be a 5 or 10 year long term, but it be reviewed every year. Something that could be canceled at any time with either party. Keith, we kind of got beginnings of a contract there we're working on, but I just kind of need to get some of these numbers hammered out. They're needing to know out there, because we're going to start reclaiming that laydown yard, and if we're going to utilize that space, we're going to make sure to leave that base intact out there.
How many acres did Blackberry?
I think there were 12. There were 12, I think, total acres. So I believe their landowner is going to leave 6 acres or 7 acres there. He's taking about half of it. They're going to clean up half of it and remove it, and then he's going to leave the other half, and with the intentions that we would release a few acres, and then he's going to have some rock and some stuff, 3 acres that he'll do his personal stuff with out there.
And you were thinking possibly leasing how many for the county then?
3 acres.
Okay. Yeah, so 600 a month.
600 a month, so it'll be $7,200 a year. So I looked at some other options. If we were just to try to find a few acres to purchase somewhere, but it's gonna be hard to find 2 or 3 acres located on asphalt. That's one thing without there, it's site ready, you know, I mean, it's, you know.
That's a nice site.
Oh, it's a nice site, and it's, I mean, what's good about it is that we can have days that it's too wet to be hauling rock for our blade guys, but, you know, we can go ahead and haul rock as, you know, we got a couple mile projects out in that area, and you know, any downtime, stuff like that, we got places that we haul to our stockpiles, and so that would be a great one just for the downtime and the weather to go ahead and be stockpiling rock there in preparations. Give us a place to store some D50. You know, that's one thing that quarries run out of, and, you know, there's times that we might only have one quarry in the county that's got any D50 availability, so, you know, the more that we can get piled off somewhere for projects we know we have coming up, it definitely saves us a lot of road time, a lot of miles, and is definitely a good advantage for us.
Would there be any chance we lease this for a while that the individual might be willing to sell it to us?
I mean, it doesn't sound like he's not interested in selling.
Yeah, to me, that's the only downside, is it's a bill that's gonna be there if you're using the thing, you know, from then on versus, I know it's hard to purchase anything too, I'm sure.
No, I mean, it is, but I think if you look at the amount of productivity, you know, if we got a stockpile that close, we're still putting the miles on the trucks, whether we're driving to a quarry 50 miles away or 10 miles away to get rock there, but when you have a rock pile that's already piled there, you know, in the day, that blade guy's gonna get several more tons of rock into an area, as opposed to if they're having to run a 20 or 30 extra mile on that haul, so, you know, I think there's some offsets that, I mean, you're right, we do just have that bill there.
I totally agree with you on that. I just mean, if we owned it.
Yeah.
It would, in the long run, you know, that's the only downside.
Right.
that
And
I
if we
see.
keep leasing it for the 3, 5, 10, whatever, he may, with time, want to part with it. So it makes sense to have something in that area, you know, the pavement and.
Oh, I agree.
In that corner of this county.
Yeah.
It would be, in an ideal world, great to buy, so.
Is that lease amount consistent with area lay-down yards or? If there is?
Yeah, I mean, there's not, I haven't had much luck coming up with much, similar deals like this. I mean, I've reached out, to Evergy, and, you know, that's kind of where this number come from. I believe the landowner talked to somebody, maybe a banker that, you know, they leased some ground, to Evergy, and that's kind of in line with the numbers that they were getting on that, is what I'm being told, so, yeah. I mean, if you guys are okay, you know, if you're good with that number, we'll start, you know, kind of give that verbal okay to them, and then we'll get this contract figured out and get it fixed, but I know they're gonna start reclaiming that stuff out there in the next month, so,
Again, it's in an ideal location, it's on solid road.
yeah.
I'd kinda like to see us lease it for a year and then maybe possibly talk to him about buying it.
I'll pursue that, I mean, we can pursue that conversation with him.
I mean, we're in it for 10 years.
We're renting it forever,
Right.
Well, and that's, I don't wanna be committed to it for 10 years, I mean, I want it to be a yearly agreement. I mean, however the contract, and that'll be something, we'll get the basics of this contract put together, Keith and I, and then we'll get it to Wade and, I mean, and you guys, and you can hammer out, you know, how that needs to be, but that's, you know, definitely needs to be something that's reviewable every year and can be decided if it's the right choice for us or not. So,
Well,
absolutely.
you know, I know it'll benefit that southeast part of the county, but I guess be up to you guys to figure out if it's worth $7,200 a year benefit.
Yeah.
I guess, so.
I mean, the base is there, it's established, all you
Oh,
have to do
that's
is
it, I
start
mean,
out
I don't,
there.
they put
I
a
mean,
fabric
that's
and,
worth
you know,
something.
6 inches of base rock down,
Yeah,
and
the base is really good.
over 3 acres, I don't, you know, I should have run some figures on how many tons of rock that is, but it's
That's a bunch.
a lot of dollars of rock.
Yeah.
mean, lots of dollars of rock, so, I mean, if we went and built something, you'd have to, you know,
Oh,
10
yeah.
years at least maybe to even cover what the cost of that would be, so.
Right, I understand. I just hate setting us up for constant
Sure.
bills that go on forever.
Sure.
That's my concern.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that, that's good discussion on that. That is really all I had. I don't have much of an airport update. You know, our asphalt work's done to this point, for now, and all that we wanted to get done on that phase 2. I'm still waiting to hear something back on change order for phase 1, and I haven't seen any details on what that looks like. So, talked with Kilo last week, they were waiting to get that back, from Victory. So I know it's been worked on and in the process, I guess, but that's, other than that, the only thing I did request to get some barricades out there on phase 2 and, try to limit some traffic driving down out there, so, I'll touch base again, follow up, and see where they're at on that.
It's something you're gonna do or have?
On the barricades, well, I mean, I can if I need to, but I think, you know, if there's work in progress out there, it probably, I mean, Kilo sounded like they did get some barricades out there, so.
Okay.
So I'll touch base with them again and see where they're at on that. I think it was Friday, maybe Friday, I touched base with them. So,
As long as it happens.
yeah.
It's just,
That's it.
get your shovels.
Yeah.
I see in our, roundtable discussion, there's a new petition for a road closing. I guess that's over at Joe Rohr's former place.
Yep.
Along the river. Do you know much about that?
Well, so they came into the office here, last week. And so there's a portion of the road that's been shut down out there, and, you know, we were looking at some river bank stabilization projects out there. Was dealing with Joe Rohr on some of that, obviously he passed away, so it's kind of been in limbo. You know, I was actually getting ready to reach out to these guys, this spring, and have some discussions with them. Well, they're interested in closing that road down, so I, you know, told them how to get that process started, and, you know, as far as the county's concerned, I mean,
You don't have any objections?
I absolutely do not have any objections.
So no other landowners drastically affected by
They own the property on both sides. You know, I think, you know, they talk like they would
Good deal.
gate their ends, and, you know, if they need access through there for harvest, it sounds like they'd be willing, you know, I mean, that'll be on them to deal with surrounding landowners, but yeah, they own the property on both sides, so it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
Because that's,
so.
our concern was basically the erosion from the river and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's where we were at. We were actually gonna have to relocate that road, you know, further east, 100 foot. It's gonna be a pretty substantial project, to get done out there, but if it gets closed down, we're
Right.
The county's out.
Yeah.
Have you already started on the legal description?
Well, I haven't received the application that they put in, so, I mean, if you get us a copy of that, and, I know we've done a lot of surveying down there, so, but yeah, we'll definitely start working towards that, getting a legal description.
Okay.
Sounds great.
At one time when we were, discussing having, county surplus auctions, you'd mentioned maybe trying to sell those millings up there, Old 50 Junction. Is that something you'd still?
Nobody wants to, no online places will sell them millings, and so we've been actually hauling some of them off. We break them up the best we can, but they've been there for over 10 years, and it's just, I mean, it's wasted product. We're getting some benefit out of the landfill with them, just utilizing on some coverings and stuff like that, but I mean, that's, you know, we talked with a couple different online people, and they said no, they have no interest on millings, and I mean, just because it's I mean, just like a pile of concrete out there.
I didn't know how hard it was.
I mean, I
had some people inquire about it after we had that discussion in here.
Yeah, and so we went up there, and I actually took a mill up there thinking that we could run our mill on there and break them up enough to get them, you know, even if they were that big, to get them usable, and that mill wouldn't even,
Gotcha.
no. So, I mean, we got the excavator up there, and of course it's some work, but we can get busted through, and I really had intentions that you get through that top and you get down below and it wouldn't be as bad, but it's pretty gnarly stuff, and it was gonna be more work than it would to try to get a few dollars out of them, selling them to an individual, because just the shape they're in, I mean, it's a wasted product.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
So,
Is there anything we can use on some of these minimum maintenance roads?
I mean,
if it won't break down.
Yeah, I mean, it's too chunky, number one. The only benefit you get is, I mean, it helps keep dust down. We've tried to utilize millings before on some shoulder stuff. We tried to use them in some entrances. You know, that's kind of was the idea when we piled that stuff up there. It's like, okay, well, surely there's some good benefit to it. And we tried it on several things, and it just made more of a mess than it was worth. So they just sat there for 10 years and been in the way. And I mean, I'd like to use that space for being able to pile material up there. I mean, it's a good place for us to pile dirt when we're working there close, and then, you know, we get downtime or, you know, weather like this time of year, we can be hauling, you know, that's a good time to be hauling stockpiles of dirt or materials off and moving them around a little bit slow.
So does the state have a lot there right beside that, or is that all the county? Right to the east of those?
No, so the fenced-in area is the state's.
That's what I
Yeah,
figured.
everything outside that fenced area. Everything outside the fenced area is the county's.
Okay.
Now, we do have some salt storage in there, inside the premises, that's separate from the state's.
Yeah.
And a little ramp that, I mean, we keep some salt up there in the winter.
Okay. Just had some inquiry about it after we talked about it here.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I guess, not that we'd have to sell it online, but people ought to be, they ought to take a closer look probably before anybody's interested, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you guys have been digging in it some, that'd give an indication of what they look like.
Well, and then I'm not saying we couldn't sell some too, but, you know, you're gonna start selling a load here, load there, you sell them all, I mean, we're gonna.
Well, that's what I'm.
How do you get, you know, by the truckload, you know, there's a lot of headaches there that you know, we're getting some benefit, honestly, out the landfill, I mean, cause it cost us money to haul cover dirt, so, I mean.
I see, okay.
Yeah, so it's.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, that's the advantage we're getting.
Yeah, if it had no use at all, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, you let it be at local on sealed bids, and then if they don't take it, then you still got the product, you know, give you a year to move it or whatever, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Looks like we've got some stuff to pass around. We want to do what we want to do next.
I've got a few things to pass around.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
I noticed that we need to approve.
So what I just handed out is tied to 405 Neosho. This was filed in the district court. This is sort of one of the pieces ongoing behind the scenes to correct the legal description before you can have the title will be ready to transfer over. So I printed this off and handed it out so you could see that it's a little more complicated than just correcting it through, an affidavit or something like that, because it involved this court action and then all the many different layers that went with it. So, on page 2, going into page 3 of what I just handed out, in paragraph 2, it showed the legal description that was within some of the documents regarding track 1. The next page over, you'll see there's an entire wall left out, and that's on page 3. At the very, third sentence down in track 1, initially, I thought it was only the Y that was missing in 80, and I had mentioned that previously. But the underlying portion was that additional wall. So that sort of went through and tied to a bunch of different documents where it was or wasn't right, including the sheriff's deed one that's sort of attached at the very end. Important for you to know is page 4, and on page 4, there's a notice that shows who all this document was sent to, including U.S. Attorney's Office. If you recall, there was a redemption period for the IRS. So at the very top, the objection notice deadline is today. And it's anticipated that there's not going to be any objection, but just in case there is, you just need to be aware of that. So
Objecting to this correction, you mean?
yes, objecting to this motion. And that's all this motion is asking to have done, to correct the legal description in all of the documents that are tied to this.
Okay.
It seems like a lot for something, in essence, a Scrivener's error, but because it dealt with the multiple different layers of this whole process, it has to be done the right way. So, and we're still set up for the second public hearing on December 22nd for, you approved that notice last week, so.
Have it at 10 a.m.
Yes,
for next week or?
the 22nd.
Yeah.
Next week is
Jacobs Creek
Road
Road closure.
Yes, I have that.
street closure.
Street closure.
Yeah.
And that'll be published in the paper this week and next week.
The second hearing.
Second hearing notice.
Yeah, this Thursday and next Thursday. And the second notice sort of references back to the initial and what's happening and what's going on. With that being said, staying on that same topic, because the original contract or agreement with TrustPoint and the potential buyer had a proposed closing date that has already passed, there's a contract addendum that just extends the closing date to on or before December 22nd. So this was sent to me by TrustPoint. They signed off on it, although they didn't date it. If you agree with that, then you'll need to make a motion to sign the addendum extending the potential closing date if you decide to do so at the hearing. And sort of what's going on behind the scenes, why it's being requested to be extended. It's in line with the moving the hearing and what's going on in the document I just handed out, as well as inspections and different things that are going on behind the scenes with the potential buyer. So
So the motion for the addendum needs to be made on the 22nd or today?
Today. And I'll just hand this around. I only printed one copy. It's the contract addendum. They need to reference back to the date of the agreement with TrustPoint. And that would have been November 17th or somewhere in that neighborhood. So it just needs to piggyback that. So if you want to hand that around.
I've asked to give this to you, but it's for you personally.
Okay.
And then while you're digesting that, I'm gonna just continue handing stuff out. If you take one and pass it around. What I'm handing out right now is the original AIA document. It's the agreement between Coffee County and the construction manager. This is the phase one document. Why that's important is I have the addendum to that document for phase two that I'm gonna hand out momentarily. So the only thing you'll see at the very end of that document that I realized I printed the wrong copy after I'd already printed those. This is the copy that has the signature from the River City representatives. That's what you're missing at the very end. So last 2 pages, there's a signature from the president of River City, and then the next page that deals with the certification of document authenticity. I didn't want to reprint everything and then change it out because I had already committed, but I have this if you want to see. Why that's important is related to, if you take, I have them divided out. So you just,
Pass it down, the whole thing. You get Angie one.
Okay,
There's two.
thank you.
Still the same thing.
so what I just handed you was the amendment to the original, or amendment to the original, the thicker packet was phase one. That's what I just handed out, should be 2 documents. It'll be document A133-2019, Exhibit A, and then directly below, guaranteed maximum price amendment. And then directly behind that is Exhibit 1, which you've seen before. That is the Phase 2 document that describes the scope of work, Phase 2 GMP breakdown, Phase 1 and 2 GMP summary.
Well, yeah, this would be,
Have I confused you?
yes.
These are the parts that go.
This is the cheese,
Right, these two, and then the original is this one right here.
So
That's
this-
for phase one and those are for
And
phase
these are for phase two.
That's Phase 1, then that's Phase 2, guaranteed maximum price amendment, which is right here. And then directly behind it is this that ties to
Okay.
All of these loose sheets.
And then if you look through there for division 2, 3, 4, It's all in that book behind us.
So Wade, give us
Okay.
the specifications,
Yeah.
spec for it, so,
All the details.
And then you have a copy of the plans, which are part of the design plan. I handed that out. It was referenced, it shows you the base bid, and then the alternates, you'll see in the GMP document, as well as, I'm sure it's in this, on page 2 of the 2019 Exhibit A, the thinner of the documents that I handed out, it has on page 2 in section A115 alternates, it references item A1, revised floor plan 2, A2, revised floor plan 3, and it shows you, in addition to the base, what those would be, which you had, you've already made a motion to amend the GMP. You did that when this document was presented to you, when Joe Seymour was here and he talked about things. And at the very top of page 2 of 2019 Exhibit A, it references 1.974552, which is in line with what you had agreed to in the documents that were presented previously, and you had made motions. So at that time, once you approved that, if you remember, and you may not, this document was mentioned at that time, this AIA document, which would amend officially the GMP. So, and they won't start until that's done. Now it's dated November 25th, and it may have just been form fielded or something within their software, I don't know. Or they assumed that that's when it would be done. But to get the next part of phase 2 up and running, this document needs to be reviewed, and then a motion made if it needs your approval to accept it. And for, similar to the original document, if you go back and you look on the second to last page, page 23 of that document, it has the chairman's signature at that time, which would be required here too. So, I'm okay if you want to take some time and look at that compared with the original document. I mean, phase 2 pretty much speaks for itself, but phase 1, so you can go back in time and kind of see what that language is and what those terms are, because some of the terms and agreements then will be incorporated into phase 2, if that makes sense. But I'd like to have it done and approved no later than next week, because I know they're wanting to get
busy.
They're wanting to get started.
How long to get started?
Looks like they got a substantial completion date proposed of June 3rd of 26.
Oh, yep, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is what's on page 3 of the amendment. Substantial completion, that's June 3rd of 2026 for phase 2. Now that may be extended or changed somewhat depending on when this document's approved.
It does say substantial.
So, yeah. So that's why I handed all those documents and tried to do my best to describe why you got a big packet full of paperwork.
if you're telling us that's what the changes are in here, does everybody wanna take these and compare them sheet for sheet, or what would everybody like to do?
I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna take it.
What's your
I'm gonna
thoughts
I'm gonna
on
take
it?
them on and review it and work on it next Monday.
Yeah, okay, if you'd like to look at them, that's great.
Yeah,
You know,
look at,
Yeah,
There's nothing in there that concerns you though on it, that you can see?
I mean, I've worked with River City long enough now that they're a top-notch outfit, the guys they have from a local standpoint. The superintendent and support staff going to their corporate office with Joe Seymour. I mean, they go out of their way to make sure it's right. They don't just rubber stamp anything. They've sat down with the sheriff and I and gone through even every single pay app, every single change order. I mean, there's not, and when we ask questions, if they don't have them, they'll pause and find it. They'll call people right then and there. The concern early on was rubber stamping and nickel and diming, and I'm confident, having been a part of all the pay apps and that process, that these documents are part of the industry, and Mike probably knows from the construction side of things, these are standard documents.
Standard forms?
Yep. So I just asked that this be on the agenda for next week, so we make sure to get it vetted, so that if it's gonna be approved, that it's, if I get hit by a bus and you need to take care of it, you can take care of it, because that will delay the project moving forward.
Okay, so what do you want me to call it then? Phase 2?
Phase 2 review of AIA document A133.
Okay, do you have a time? Because I've got, 9:05 to about 9:30. At 9:30, 10 o'clock is the public hearing, and then I have contract renewal for insurance next week. I don't know, does 10:45 work?
Whenever you get it fit in, I think, because these documents are in their hands now, they can review them, and it shouldn't be anything that's, should take too long unless there's an issue.
So is River City gonna be here for that too, or no?
Not that I'm aware of.
Guess that's what I was worried about, but if they're not, then that's
No.
okay.
That's just one package.
sorry, and the whole thing around. It's all together.
Just,
It's all together. Should be wondering, which is
So you can deal with this next week too, I just wanted to get it to you. This showed up last week, the pay act number 24 tied to the phase 1 of the jail. This really doesn't have a whole lot of discussion that goes with it, because the entire amount, the payment due, $52,084.49, is tied to change order 46 and 47 that you previously approved. And I have those here in case you wanted to see them. So,
Should we go ahead and do it then?
If we previously approved it.
so 47 was tied to the power to the smoke dampers. If you remember that discussion. And then 46 was tied to changing the type of sump pump in the elevator and revising electrical requirements. And then Goldberg GJA was gonna pay for the restocking fee. If you remember that. So that's what those two change orders were specific to. I feel like I've flooded you with paperwork here lately.
Just on treat. Not as bad as in the past. You're getting better. Maybe work on it a little bit more.
Room for improvement.
Do you need to pass this today? Yeah, she's typing the motion right now.
Yeah, I meant to
Sorry.
send it, there it is. I didn't know if you wanted to deal with it today or not.
Thanks, we'll just say.
Yeah. It's ready.
Okay, I'd ask for a motion to approve the application and certificate for payment, application number 24 for period ending 11/30/2025, submitted by River City Construction LLC in the amount of $52,084.49, and that is billing associated with change orders number 46 and 47. For work completed, reference the Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project associated with Phase 1. Funds to come from the Jail Construction Project Fund, Fund 111.
Move. I'll second.
Moved by McCurry and seconded by Peterson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I couldn't sleep for some reason. I just had it open. That's why. I mean, I just didn't use it. Shut it down.
We passed a motion to approve that first thing.
Right. The only thing we brought with the new fees to this one.
Pretty bold,
Yeah. And big.
but it needs the chairman's signature.
Oh.
Nothing else.
Yeah. We would need to sign off on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
I wish I never seen that. We haven't done this one yet, right?
sign this one,
No, I thought that was next.
He didn't
I thought
change,
that was
he
the
only
hearing.
changed the
Is that
dates.
right?
When it's the hearing, I think.
Yeah.
22nd.
okay, for this.
Yeah. So it should
So
be
we
fine.
need to do this until the 22nd, is that
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
After the hearing or during the hearing?
okay?
That's a revision to the legal description.
Right,
on the
right,
side.
right.
Back, I think we need to make a motion.
And then next week is that Jacob.
I'm sorry, I've lost track.
And then we'll get you. Just today was a cutoff date for December 8th.
Oh, right.
For new station units to be filed.
Yeah, I was gonna tell him that.
Is that right, Wade?
I'm sorry.
You don't need anything on that legal description for the 405, 407? Until 22nd?
Until the 22nd, is that correct?
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
What I handed out to you is just
Right.
so you know what's filed with the court.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I thought that needed to be done sooner than later.
No, it's just that what needs to be done today is the, addendum to the contract, to
The time
extend it.
extension.
The
Oh, okay,
extension.
okay.
Okay, so we need to make a motion on that.
Yes, because then it needs to be signed.
Did you hear anything on the inspections? Everything go good, do you know?
So far, it's my understanding the insurance company for the prospective buyer wants to come and take a look to come up with whatever the coverage would be. So Ty had reached out to both myself and to Jenny, and I'd indicated as long as a representative of the county was there during that time, I didn't see an issue, so I think someone from Trust Point was gonna go since they're sort of an agent of the county. But gas is up and running, they isolated the issue, there'll be unfortunately a bill that comes with it from Cooks who went in and isolated that. That after showed up and they did the pressure test, something to do with the, what was it, the hood?
Gas line behind the grill?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's been taken care of. There were some other inspections that were going on behind the scenes, and my understanding is everything's
Termite rate on your gas? so-
cleared. Cleared so far, so the only thing we're waiting on is the
Legal.
legal description, and that should take care of itself, hopefully in pretty short order.
So I noticed in the insurance book that that building was insured. Is that something that we need to remove if we sell this
Yes.
from that?
Yeah, once it's sold, we'll review.
Wait, do all the commissioners need to sign this?
Nope, just for
Just the chairman?
just the chairman,
Okay.
similar to the original, contract, commercial real estate listing agreement signed
Okay.
by the chairman.
So that's for this motion.
Yeah.
For the hearing. Okay, so I'd ask for a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the contract addendum for the property at 405 Neosho Street, Burlington, Kansas, 66839, for the closing and possession now scheduled on Monday, December 22nd, 2025.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Avendroff and seconded by Barker. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You can sign this, Chairman.
Hopefully there won't be any other issues.
Bridges.
But if there's a meteor that is coming from space, go right through the front.
Take it out.
I had to say it.
I'm wondering, is the meteor part of the coverage?
It wasn't listed in there.
Call it that.
Extra story.
called and asked to hear wait.
I saw something about earthquakes, so that's,
Probably have a hurricane or something.
You have anything else for us, Wade?
No, that'll cover it for today.
Boy, not many items, took a little time on one or two of them, that's pretty short. Todd?
Just listening to that presentation, when we have our meetings with our department heads, they talked about having $76,000 worth of workman's comp, used this year, and maybe we need to talk about safety, so we don't have people filing all kinds of workman's comp.
It's a constant concern.
Concerns of what against our insurance causing it to go up, because it did cause it to go up that bit. We just make a point to be careful. I mean, sometimes accidents are gonna happen, but
Right.
just
Was that due to that or due to classification of some?
those two things, classification and workman's comp.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever we can do to keep it down, definitely.
Yep. All you got, Todd?
Yep.
Hey, Mark?
I do not have anything.
Okay.
Nope, I'm good. Nothing to do.
Steve?
I think I'm good.
Okay, I guess the only thing I've got, I went to the closing there last Monday afternoon for on the two hospital properties. Let's see. The Leroy property, after all of the expenses and commission, is gonna net $53,662.50. And I believe the commission was split for 2,000 for this one and 3 on the other one, but I'd have to look closer. We were talking about 5, if I remember correctly.
Right, maximum.
Yeah. And on the property here in Burlington, $76,625. So I brought these up to Angie, and she went ahead and deposited those 2 checks in the general, is that correct?
Yes, where you normally put, county property that you sold.
So I thought we could put it there, and then we could bring that subject up later, what we want to do with that money. So thought I'd talk with her about it, and thought we just want to get it deposited, get those checks back to those people, so I guess that's all I've got to report on that, so. And I've got some more stuff here yet to sign, but.
Speaking of hospital, are we all in agreement just to wait till next week before we make any appointments to hospital board?
I guess I'd like to have a little more time to think about it. Does that suit everybody okay?
I would like to think about it some more.
Yeah.
I have a couple things.
Yeah, I'm done, I'm
Whenever
sorry.
you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta pull up one thing real quick though. So one thing to keep in mind is you just talked about holding off till next week on your other board appointments, but we still have the 3 applicants for housing authority. I don't know if you guys want to consider those next week also, or wait. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
You can decide that later, but I have those here too.
Okay.
I assume you want us to go ahead and do chamber bucks this year, which is a $25 gift certificate we give to all county employees.
guess, hasn't it? So it's been there
We've
in
been
the
doing
past.
it for
I'm
100
agreeable
years,
with that.
however long.
Yeah. Okay.
My question is, do you guys want to be included in that this year?
I haven't been.
It's gone back and forth,
Doesn't
so it's up to you guys.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean,
You have to tell me, because I can't make that decision.
Okay. I know. I think I see a bunch of no's, so.
Okay. And then, a few years ago, they included board members, but then I don't know that we did it last year or the year before. Do you want me to include all board members in that too?
You mean like these
Yeah,
boards are?
hospital, fire, do you want them included in that, or do you not?
I don't think it would hurt. I mean, they are doing this free gratis.
Yeah, I think
It would be an appreciation.
yeah.
So do them.
Yep.
Okay. The ones that are currently on there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I got all of the budget numbers entered for next year, so we're good to go when we close out and roll over. But I did want to, just visit with you real quick. So I reviewed the November budget plan that we, or the November budget report on all departments, and just to kind of preliminary look at what we may have for year-end transfers at the end of the year. It's a little early to talk about it, kind of, but kind of not. With how things have been done over the past 2 years, and, you know, all the moving parts with, real estate going up, trying to keep the budget down, and trying to, you know, not increase taxes on citizens and everything. So like at the end of this year, we're not gonna have a lot to transfer out. I probably would be around $990,000 to any reserve. So when I was looking at the fund sheet, I'm looking at the highlighted yellow ones. I think equipment reserve is probably good. Your capital improvement fund is the one that concerns me, because right now it's probably only funded for about 3 years, where it's at right now. So I'm kind of thinking you may just want to lump it all there. If,
In your capital
Yeah.
improvement.
I think your community improvement is sitting okay, but with the capital improvement, so for 7 years out, which I increased that for you guys a few years ago, I felt like you needed a bigger picture of years. It's about 13 million that you need for 7 years out. And like, yeah, and so right now, like I said, you're about 3 years right now. So we could have more than this, depending on if, like, Road Bridge has some extra to give or whatever, but normally your transfers are around 6 million, usually. But, so just be thinking of that. I think that's all I have. You guys leave to go to your meeting. Do you have all of your stuff? Okay. There was no mix-up.
Registration and a room.
Yeah. And you guys are at the same hotel. So they got it right this time. We didn't have you guys confused on people.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out when you get there.
Go in on South Road.
I think that's all I have, so.
Okay.
South Road.
Yeah. Work on getting these things signed. Signed on your line.
It's okay.
Let me sign it
I'll
down
sign
here.
on yours, no.
Okay.
It happens every now and then.
Like it. Oh, no, that's not where I said.
used car dealers.
So on those, the board members that are on there, as of today, they'll get one. If you appoint next week, do you want the new ones on too?
I wouldn't, because the new ones don't start till January 1.
Okay, all right, good. That answered my question. Okay, thanks.
I mean, the terms don't start till January 1.
Right.
Some of them may be reappointed. On the tourism board, Mike was looking at that and
Yeah.
pointed out Jenny, her term is up, but I think the
Normally
economic
reappoint
development,
her
yeah, it's not kind of an
automatic.
automatic on that one, so we just need to give a motion to
Okay,
have to do
I'll do that next week.
Okay.
Or well, you could do it today, and it's out of the way.
You want me to ask her if she wants to do it?
Well, it kind of goes with the job, I think.
Yeah, she can come see us if she don't want to.
It doesn't matter, we can do it next week.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go from them in my truck for $6,000 he sent me the other day. I'd rather pay Ryan. Maybe we can make the switch. Right. I bet you can, sure.
Okay, I'll make a motion to reappoint Economic Development Director Jenny Tapman to the Coffee County Chamber Board.
That's it. Tourism.
Oh, tourism, I'm sorry. Tourism board, okay?
Okay. Coffee County Tourism Board.
Tourism and Visitors Board, I think is how it's formally.
Yes.
Tourism and Visitors Board to a 2-year term. Do I have a second?
A second.
McCurry has second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You moved, right?
Yes, I did.
That's effective January 1,
Oh, yeah.
2026.
Can you add that? You would add that.
Jenny Tapman to the Coffee County Tourism and Visitors Board to a 2-year term effective January 1st, 2026. Also
And is
moved.
ending December 31st, 2027.
28.
Yep, and ending December 2027, because.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 years. I was
26 and
thinking.
27. Okay, ending December
Okay, yeah.
31st, 2027.
I'll still second.
Okay, second, and all in favor to our amended motion. Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
It just never ends. Oh.
report.
Really study this.
Guess my kid lady didn't work today. He thought he's getting ready to go to wrestling in Kansas City tonight. Wrestling. I think it was a Raw or WWE or something.
Kind of get psyched up for it all day.
Can't go to work because we're getting ready to watch wrestling. That's what he told me.
That's the reason. Go.
Did you do a little something and
Well,
cool. I need to start charging him a minute.
how old is he?
23.
Oh.
Yes.
Another one you sent last couple weeks, another 150.
Figured it surely was, but.
Email.
Is this, go ahead pay?
Yep.
Okay, do you want, same place you go paying it?
I don't remember where they said that money.
That's what I just went through.
That was the one, the
Oh,
184.
we'll check.
But you just don't have them see that.
Yeah, no, that's the,
Part of it probably is from the CDBG. I don't know how they want to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there's part of it that will come from that, and part of it is the county's responsibility, and I don't know how that's being,
Okay.
divvied up, but it'd be a good question to ask Kurt Nordstrom.
Yeah, and I can't remember too.
A&T, is this?
CID money that we
Yeah.
collect, yeah.
So that was paid by the state into that district?
That's what's collected
Right.
and the state's reimbursing that.
Okay, so it was our CID fund for
Uh-huh,
BETA.
yep.
It's usually in that 10,000 to 12,000
Yeah.
miles.
It is. I thought they put it on here.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, it's on here.
Each month. yeah.
You've got 331,000 in there right now.
Do we need to, Tom, are you planning on that business meeting Wednesday morning? I think it's Wednesday. At KAC, the business meeting. Got an email about appointing somebody an official voting delegate. You know about it?
I I messaged them, and she never did get back with me on that.
I remember running across something on that, and I think I saw something. And then I saw the league there, it jogged my memory.
I'll call her today and find out.
If we do that this late in the game, anyway.
I think you'd have to make a motion, and then I have to give it to her.
Doesn't matter. Oops. Guess if we wanna say anything, I guess need a motion to.
Yeah, let me get,
Voting delegate.
if I can't get the form from her, I'll forward the motion to her, so she'll have it. Hopefully she's checking her email, or I'll try to get a hold of her.
Okay.
But, yeah, so let me get an old motion pulled up. Yeah, they usually send us a form that's got the delegates on it, but I haven't seen anything. They did change also people that are doing this kind of stuff this year.
Yeah.
It's not the same gal. I don't know.
I think Kimberly, I think, changed jobs.
She did. I'm dealing with an Amy now.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Boy, you went way back to get Cody.
I had to.
Wow.
And since only two of you are going, we won't have a second alternate. This
got
is
that card?
50th.
Do you really? Mine didn't read it. Can't get in there. See that?
What is it?
Barry Bonds, rookie card, 1987. Barry Bonds, baseball player. You got two of them? I'll give you $5 out of that.
Does it come with steroids?
Mike?
Okay.
I don't care.
Here's the motion.
I'll ask for a motion to appoint,
So you have to have either Mark or Todd as the voting delegate and one as the first alternate.
would you like that to be? Okay. To appoint, Mark Peterson as voting delegate and Todd Barker as first alternate for the 50th Annual KAC Conference on December 8th through the 11th, 2025 in Wichita/Sedgwick County.
I'll make that motion. Second it.
Moved by McCurry and seconded by Admiral. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. You're elected.
and sending her the email as we.
I'm told.
Very good.
Okay, it's sent.
Okay.
Can't think of anything else.
Can't either, I didn't know if Todd's done signing or.
No, I'm done.
Okay, I didn't know if you were done, done signing off, I was looking at something there, sorry. Well, if nobody has anything else, I guess we just will adjourn at 12:50.
Very good. Okay, very good. No objection.